I can get to.
I'm vengeance. I forgot to put on my.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 89 of the Super Civil Servants podcast. My name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52. Folks, I'm 100 days no drinking, 23 pounds lighter, and 3 weeks no podcast. I'm ready to talk about some stuff tonight. We've got a packed Bat Cave this evening. With me, as always, his name is my safe word. Nathan, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, that's I don't like that, to be honest with you.
There's a lot to deconstruct with that.
Yeah, I don't like that, but other than that, doing pretty good, guys. I feel like it's been a long time since we all just got to sit together and shoot the shit and chase some squirrels, and I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of squirrel chasing tonight, I'm sure. Chris is with us tonight too. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. It's spring break. I happened a week ago, and I worked most of it, and spring cleaned, and now it's time for a yard sale. So setting up for that tonight. And
oh man,
so yeah, so in-laws are in town visiting, and enjoying them enjoying their grandchildren. So it gives us a little bit of a break to get other things done.
What time is the yard sale starting in the morning?
7 a.m. So that means we start setting up at 6 a.m.
You did it good. And around here, people are like, you can come in at like 5:30 a.m. So they're up at like 4 and 4:30. Like the people they get crazy out here. They get it crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Joe's with us. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not much, guys. Just been a busy-ish week, especially at work. Work for GM, so we're having that chip shortage because they're putting in the vaccine, and everybody's getting in their bodies. So it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, good to have you on, man, as always. And special guest tonight, Mr. Frank Martin. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me on the chat. And I'm doing good. I have in this room, the doorknob is broken and the door is shut. So I'm sealed in away from my 3 children.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, it's great to have you on, man. You're welcome anytime. But
thank you.
Yep. Let's get things started, man. We're going to start out with, one of the reasons you're on this evening. We got Frank is the author of the comic book, The Last Homicide. We've all gotten a chance to read it. I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm going to let him introduce it and give us a description of where we're at, and then we'll all talk about it. So, Frank, talk to us about your comic.
Last Homicide. It's a 2-part story. I have a Kickstarter campaign going now for part 1. It's a crime, noir, pulp, detective, murder mystery, all those words thrown in there. Yeah, the premise is pretty simple. You got 2 detectives. One's about to retire, and he got his younger partner. And it's the detective's about to retire, so this is his last homicide case working with his partner. And they caught the murder of a mob boss's son, his adult son. And in this city that's kind of filled with corruption and gangs, they're worried that this murder is going to tip these 2 rival mob bosses into an all-out gang war. So it's like their last case together, and the entire city is dependent on them to solve it. So that's kind of what it's all about.
That's right up my alley as far as the noir stuff. I love the mystery in the comics, and a slow burn. So I really enjoyed reading this one. But let's just get some overall thoughts from everybody else. Nathan, starts out, man. What did you think of this one?
Like I was saying a little bit offline, like you were just saying, the noir, the crime story, the gritty, the dirty, like that's all right up my alley, and it caught my attention. I went straight through, it was a good read, it's a good story. And I was saying earlier, the art complements the storytelling, because it's kind of got that gritty, dark feeling. I don't know, it just sets you up, puts you in the world. And I very much enjoyed this first story of just, I felt like I almost, just after like 2 or 3 panels, I almost felt like I was the third wheel with the partners. You know what I mean? Like I'd been there to hear these guys going back and forth, the young smart ass and the grizzled vet. Like I thought it was really well written, and I was thoroughly invested. And by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, "Oh man," because I kind of want to turn to the next panel and see what happened.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool because there's 2 sides to this. You got the detective side to it, that's kind of like the Law and Order bit, and then you got the mob. There's a lot of mob tropes and mob characters and mafiosos, and that's like the Sopranos side of it. So I kind of mashed them together for this. So you get your little detective procedural fix, and you get your little organized crime fix.
Is it like Murtaugh and Riggs in the Sopranos world? Is that that's kind of what I'm feeling now?
You know, the dynamic I really grabbed at, or the thing it's closest to, I would say would be Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt in Seven. You know,
yes.
Morgan Freeman is definitely about to retire. He's experienced and he's cynical, and Brad Pitt's like, I'm gonna fucking solve this case. So I think
that's in the box.
Yeah, gotta get that moment.
So yeah, that was kind of the closest dynamic that I can explain to how these two operate.
Much better descriptor than mine. So yeah, I would agree.
No, there's definitely some weapons going on there too. So.
Joe, what'd you think, man?
Dude, I loved it. You know, coming off of Polar Paradox, it's definitely a different end of the spectrum, and I like that you're not just playing in one sandbox. I think I'd listened to you on Fortress of Comic News. They're friends of mine, and by that time I'd already backed the book, so whatever. So you didn't have to convince me, but but I was listening to her on there, and then you just hearing you describe it, similar to how you described it here. And like I said, you don't stick to one area. You've got Polar Paradox, which is an underwater adventure, and then you have Last Homicide, which is cop noir, and it's just that's awesome. Yeah, and reading this issue, it kept me interested, kept me intrigued the entire time.
Yeah, growing up, I was a Blockbuster kid. So they had the sci-fi section, the horror section, fantasy drama. It was just like, what do you want to watch today? So I picked something from every single section. So I mean, people tend to write what they like, and I liked everything in Blockbuster. So it's got all
perfect.
Makes it easy. There you go.
I was very much in that same that same style of growing up. That was the weekend thing. We go to Blockbuster, and it's just a whole new world of stories and different places to be.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You always had to look at the wall. You always had to check out what was there.
My Blockbuster now is a Walgreens, and I go there with my kids, and they're always like, "Dad, don't tell us about the Blockbuster it used to be." Like, this is Blockbuster. This is you don't understand.
You kids will never understand going to the service counter and asking, "Did anybody return it yet?" When you went up to your wall and all of the new movies were gone, you were just hoping somebody brought one back.
Yep. Do you remember you'd ask them to check inside the thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, check the return box.
I used to know the. Go ahead, Frank.
I was gonna say I felt like I was morally superior because I always rewound the movies.
Yes,
I was like, I did my part to support the Blockbuster community.
I remember being furious when I'd get one and it wasn't rewound. Like, you son of a bitch!
I gotta wait 3 minutes to rewind it. Yeah. No, I always knew the guy, so they would let me just go in the back room and just watch the movies back there.
What do you think, Chris?
I'm hoity-toity.
So I'm trying to think. My Blockbuster now is a mattress firm, and the best part about Blockbuster was when they were closing, you could go in there and buy like 6 movies for $20. And the closer and closer, I have like
mine's a ready-made.
That actually that display I have my comics on is a Blockbuster display from where I was at. I'm pretty sure. So
nice. I know. Yeah. You remember buying that stuff in like 2015 when they went out of business, and now in 2021 everybody's throwing their DVDs out and going, "I got digital."
or you got the Blockbuster that turns into the Airbnb. You've always got that.
Yeah.
I had like 6 different movie stores that were all around me, and one was called Movies. It was like the monster was a cow. I don't know if that was a chicken.
Gimmick.
But my thing was when they were going out of business, we rented like 20 movies, and then when they closed, they just never asked anybody to return them.
Yeah, best kind.
Score. And 2 days of those movies are now gone.
We've all been there.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Chris. You got any thoughts?
Yeah. Again, I'm a Brubaker Phillips stan. Like, all they have to do is have their name on it. I don't even have to know what it's about. I'm buying it. So, but crime noir is any movies, black and whites, anything. That is what I love. So the minute I even saw the cover, I didn't even read a description. I said, "Oh, I already know I'm going to like this." and it's with the color choices of how it's done. Really, it's probably one of the most unique ways present this, because to me it almost like a what do you call the motion comics. It's almost like a mix of the motion comic and the kind of cell shading. It's a good mix of those at that point. So I really like that. But what always hooks me with a crime noir, and it shows it's a good crime noir, is, do you make me care about the side characters? Because I know I'm probably going to care about the main characters, but you've done a really, really good job of the side characters that you do introduce in this first issue. I want to know more. And I want to know a lot more about it. I know it's only 2 issues, but gosh darn it, I can't wait to find out more about this whole what's going on. And man, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I would say my favorite character in the book is one of the mob bosses. So there's 2. One is a male, one is a female, and the female is the one who lost the son. So it's basically, she's a mother that lost the son, and she's my favorite character in the book. I loved writing her, the dichotomy between her being a ruthless mob boss and being a grieving mother. It was just
that's what I was gonna say. That was an interesting and it explains perfectly in the book, but you can definitely see the. I don't know. Let's put it this way: my wife and this lady would act totally different with their children being. You know what I mean? It just works. It works well.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying before, the crime noir is right up my alley. I love that kind of reading. I love something where you have to figure out what's going on as it happens. I like a mystery, something that I can figure out immediately. Just kind of turns me off with it. It doesn't turn me off. It's just not as exciting for me. This is kind of a long Halloweenish kind of feel to it. Which I liked. Really, really nice. The artwork is really, really crazy. As far as the way things are lit, because Chris, the way you described it was perfect. Where it's that kind of what did you just say? I can't even describe it how you just did. The mixture of the 2. I heard it and I was like, oh, it's perfect. But now I can't.
I was
remember.
definitely listening, Chris. I definitely heard what you said. Yeah. But I'm not going to repeat it.
The motion comic and cell shading.
That's what it was. Yeah, and it's great, and it's funny because I noticed a difference between like the people and it was like that, like Chris is talking about, and then you go to far away shots of like I'm trying to find one if you're like the city, and it reminds me of the 90s. So I'm scrolling through here. Yeah, like it reminds me of 90s comics, which I love.
Reminds me of like a Michael Mann film or something.
Yeah.
Say a Michael Bay film, there'd be a giant explosion in the background.
Yeah,
just
everywhere.
Huge explosion.
A robot for no reason.
Yeah, Heat is one of my favorite movies, so I might have like subconsciously channeling it.
Yeah,
understandable.
But yeah, really enjoyed it, man. It was one of those ones. As soon as I got to the end, I was like, all right, let's go with the second one. I could have just went right onto it and then just kept going. So I appreciate you sharing with us, man. And I'm trying to think is where if anybody wants to get a hold of this or anybody wants to get a copy of it, where can they find a copy or where can they support it at?
So you can, an easy way is to go to Kickstarter and search The Last Homicide. It's sure to come up. Hopefully, I hope it's the title, so I wish it comes up. Or if you're following me on social media or find me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, I'm at Frank the Writer, and I'm just doing the Kickstarter social media blast thing. So should be a link should be on there too.
Who is the artist of this? I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask. What's the artist name in this?
The artist, his name is Pietro Vaughn, and the colorist, his name is Eugene Betterville. And they, I've heard somebody on that Fortress of Comics podcast, Chris Runt, said, I somehow created them to be perfect molds of each other to create this comic because they just, the colors complement each other very well.
Chris was right. The art and the colors, everything on this book was amazing. So, and I know he himself, he's got his own book. He's trying to put out Battle Monsters. I got the first issue of that.
Yeah, I got the first issue of that one too.
Yeah, and I loved it. But I know he's having some issues. He's been on my show a couple times, and he's told some stories, and he's having some issues at the moment. But hopefully, fingers crossed, he can get the other 3 on backed on Kickstarter. Well, up on Kickstarter, because I was really invested in that, and the art for that worked for what the story he was telling. The art for this, for Last Homicide, works for the story you're telling. Like,
yeah, I mean, I could just imagine me swapping out the art teams for Polar Paradox and The Last Homicide. It would be like,
yeah,
it would be very weird.
Yeah,
So Russell Nolte is a big time indie comic creator, and he made a post the other day about how art can sink or swim projects, and how he would never hire like Alex Ross or Jim Lee to do his books, even though they're hugely popular, because when people buy his books, they're not going to expect that kind of art, you know. So it's really important how well you choose your art team to fit the style, the mood, and the atmosphere of the story.
Yeah, I've definitely passed on books because of the art, but at the same time, I've read books where the art was okay, but the story was great. Now, you definitely get a bad art and a bad storyteller, a bad writer, Legion. Then you will have an issue.
See, I'm the kind of way that, yeah, it really does. But I look at it as For Tomorrow, amazing art, horrible story.
Correct.
Horrible story.
Love Jim Lee's art, but I don't know what the heck was going on with that story. Like, it just,
nobody knows what's going on. I don't even think Azzarello knows what's going on.
If you get a mediocre story, but you get a really great storytelling artist, not just somebody that could just make an awesome pinup, but that knows how to draw a sequential page to tell a story and have the reader's eye go across the page, it could really elevate the story into something phenomenal.
Makes all the difference.
So let me ask them, what do you think would be a better comic? One with a worse story and a better art, like that can tell the story better, or one that's a great story but has terrible art?
I'm a story guy.
Okay.
So I can stomach art if I'm really into the story. And I think I do that more so than your normal comic reader. So because I'm a writer, I'm really into the nuts and bolts of storytelling. So but the age-old saying is that art sells issue 1, story sells issue 2. You know?
Okay.
See, I'm a shallow bitch, and I'm always looking at the superficial stuff. So if you got good art in there, but I also will say that if there's good art in there and the way it's drawn, you can convey just as much of the story through the words on the dialogue. Even if the words are kind of clunky, you can still convey your message in the art. But yeah, I'm a visual person. You know, I'm that guy. I don't get to know the mind first. I'm always like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that reminds me of an episode of Samurai Jack. I can't remember, it's first season, and there's no dialogue until like the last 5 minutes of the episode, and it's just him walking and then fighting, and the whole it's like one of the better episodes because it doesn't say a word, and everything is through the art.
Oh, they have that great BoJack Horseman episode too when they're underwater. There's it seems like nobody here has seen BoJack Horseman.
I haven't. Sorry.
Well,
sorry, Frank.
Where he goes to an underwater city, and they wear this dome on their head, so you can't really talk. So the entire episode, whenever he talks, you just hear blah 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 blah. But they have the entire episode like that. Nobody says a whole word, and just through the actions and what's going on, a complete drama unfolds. So it's very cool.
So as long as if you have a good storyteller with art along with the story, it's perfect.
What's that famous G.I. Joe comic where it's like all about snake eyes or some shit, and like the entire comic, there's not a word in the entire issue, and it's like one of the best issues of the whole I don't know. I've heard Jamie Drewley from Holy Batcast talk about it before.
Well, Marvel did that in the early 2000s. They had their Nuff Said kind of trendy line where they just put out an issue for like all their series where it's just completely wordless. There's no
nice.
There's no dialogue. That was always cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that I'm kind of split down the middle with this one because I read comics differently just based on what they are. Like some of them, I'll look more at I'll usually read them twice the first time I go over it, and sometimes I look more at the pictures and feel the story through that, and sometimes I skip right over the art and I read right through it, and those are the ones that the story is really great. And I think I'm more in Frank's picture ballpark here. I'm kind of but a great story can save bad artwork better than great artwork can save a bad story, but I still can run with both of them, and as long as it's got at least one of those that's really, really good, then I'll usually enjoy the comic pretty well. So well, y'all got anything else you want to say about Frank's comic?
Go buy it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is obviously not your first Kickstarter. How many Kickstarters have you done, Frank?
This is my 9th total. I think it's like 7th comic. I've done that weren't comics. So, and I got 3 more this year. So I'm kind of busy.
I mean, whenever you got one you want to put out there and you want to promote, just let us know.
Thank you.
You know?
Definitely got to get you back on Comic Rundown for Polar Paradox 2.
That's coming up next, like June.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely put you on World's Finest as well. Just whenever. You don't even have to be promoting a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Forward, Chris.
Likewise here. Just
God, one up me, Chris. Jeez.
Yeah.
Not one up you. I have to say, well, hey, we'll do a nice little 3-way here.
All right.
That works. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on then. This has been delayed. We were supposed to do it a little while ago, but due to some circumstances beyond our control, we haven't got to do a show for the last 2 weeks. So we're going to get to Godzilla versus Kong, and we're going to talk about who was the winner, and we know who the winner was. We'll get into that. I know who the winner was, but
HBO Max.
Is this the final movie of
Brothers.
the series? Yeah, there you go. Is this
Definitely
the final
Warner
movie of
Bros.
the series?
It definitely seemed that way, didn't it?
It did. Okay, so we're going to assume it was. So let's just say this is how they wrapped up this series. Overall thoughts for everybody. Frank, you're the guest. I'm going to start with you, man. Just overall thoughts of this one. What do you enjoy this monster series? Because I'm new to this for the show coming into it, and I'm enjoying
I've
it.
been waiting for this movie. When they announced it, I hadn't seen any in the MonsterVerse, and I immediately watched the 3 that before it in like a week, and then I was really excited for this one, and my son was excited for it, and we stayed up late and we watched it, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end.
Yep.
Go more. I could go more.
No,
yeah,
you're good. Somebody pointed, and I was trying to figure that out. My bad.
I'm pointing at Nathan because he's all like, yeah.
I enjoyed it too. No, sorry, go ahead. I was saying I enjoyed it too.
I really liked it because I got everything that I kind of wanted out of it. I thought the fights were awesome. I think the reason I liked it is because from a story perspective, it's built upon really strong themes, really relevant themes of different things that are poignant and touching and we can relate to today's society. But at the same time, it's a dumb movie about big monsters hitting each other. So that makes zero sense when you think about what happened. They're in a spaceship. They hit hyperspace through a tunnel in the ground, and they're in the center of the earth where gravity's on the ceiling. It makes and then they use a what are those things called? A defibrillator on King Kong with
the ship. Yeah.
Completely absurd. It's a ridiculous movie, but when you get through all that, it's it's really grounded in something that's great. So I loved it.
Chris,
all the Hollow Earth people.
I want to hear Nathan first. Yeah, I want to hear Nathan.
Nathan, what do you think, buddy?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know why? Because when I came to King Kong versus Godzilla, you know what I expected? Fucking giant monsters meleeing shit and just causing havoc. You know what I got in this movie? Exactly that.
Yep.
I did, you know what I mean? They did waste too much time on people. Yeah, you put Millie Bobby Brown in there because, hey, she's still a hot star, a rising star. Hey, look at our movie. Look, we got her in here. And then basically this Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård, because he's been on the rise since he was the mysterious blonde, vampire in True Blood and stuff, and he's in Tarzan and all that. But you just kind of trot them out there to be see, look at us, we got stuff. I didn't give a shit about any of them. All I cared about was the giant cool fights, and they did a good job on that. And there was definitely a clear winner. And anyway, we'll get there when we get there, because it's not even subjective, it's objective, and we need to get into that. But I know Joe liked to shit on the movie, and so I'd like to hear him just go ahead and throw a couple bombs on it.
Look, I didn't shit on the movie. Okay, I had fun with the movie. There was too many human elements in the movie.
Oh.
That was the issue.
Okay.
Because yes, at the end of the day, it's giant kaijus fighting. I wanted to see that, but now you're getting a full story of, okay, you got the Godzilla team over here, and you got to see what they're doing. Oh well, they're stuck in here. They're stuck in the Hollow Earth. Oh, they got the Kong. Wait, no, Godzilla team was stuck in Japan or wherever the hell they were. And then the Kong team was stuck in Middle Earth because we gotta follow them for some reason. It was a fun movie. Just gotta reiterate that it was a fun movie. I wanted more fighting.
I thought
It's Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay.
I thought there was a lot of fighting. You had two big fights that lasted for a long time. I mean, it will be difficult to tell the movie without humans pushing it forward. Humans do things that make it happen. Otherwise, I mean, if you remove the humans from it, it would. I don't know. I just feel it wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to do our movie with it. And
I mean, this movie, obviously, the humans creating Mechagodzilla is what caused Godzilla to attack, which then forced. Well, no, because I think if they had taken Kong off of Skull Island to begin with, Godzilla would have came and attacked him. Like that was going to happen regardless. But you would have gotten Godzilla attacking the Apex or wherever the hell, I can't even remember what that place was called, without them building Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair point.
It was still fun. Look, I just say it was fun.
Yeah.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, no. I enjoyed it, but I think I might have hoped a little bit more than I got out of it. Yes, I enjoyed and I got my fights that I've been wanting to see with Kong and Godzilla. I've enjoyed the series a lot. But it kind of like what we said on Slice of Film, I felt this was Kong with special guest Godzilla. But to be fair, in a sense that we've only had one Kong movie.
People can say that about Batman. People have been saying that about Batman vs Superman too. This is
I was going to make that comparison.
Superman.
Okay. And with that, again, we've only had one Kong movie, so you got to make up for it because we've had now two Godzilla movies that got a lot there. So it just seemed like Godzilla was there occasionally into further along the Kong story, which is fine. I kind of thought I'm fine with the human elements. I didn't think it was as much as the other ones. I think the other ones were really heavy in the human elements a little much. So I felt it scaled it back a little bit, but I just didn't feel the investment on either side. I felt maybe a little more investment on the Kong side than I did the Godzilla side. I couldn't care. I just didn't care at all. They just weren't. They just weren't doing it for me. But when we got to like just certain elements of it was just like, man, Kong should have gone down. Kong should have gone down a couple of times in this one permanently if it weren't for the humans.
We're gonna get to that.
And Mechagodzilla. I mean Ghidorah. I mean Mechagodzilla. I'm sorry. I can never get either one of them confused. Is it Mechagodzilla or is it Ghidorah's Rise Again? I'm a little confused.
It was Mechagodzilla and then Ghidorah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, but it was fun. Again, I wasn't expecting the best movie I've seen all year. I got what I wanted. It's definitely did not end up as my top favorite, but I enjoyed what I got and I accept what I got.
All right. I'm kind of right there with you, man. It was a good movie. I did enjoy it. I'll probably go back and watch it again. Like I enjoyed it that much. But I'm right there with Nathan. I got what I expected and what I wanted. Human element didn't bother me because I didn't care about it. Most of the time, I was kind of listening to what was going on, but there were some things that were difficult to figure out about what was going on with it for me, at least. So I just wanted to see monsters fight, and I did. And I'm glad I finally got to see a clear winner. And I predicted correctly. That. Should I just go and say it? Kong went ahead and Kong beat down Godzilla. I'm just saying.
I mean,
no. How about good?
Godzilla kicked his ass twice.
Yeah,
and then they teamed up.
How about I'm going to go back to a Black Panther reference here. In the Kong versus Godzilla fight, the final one, Kong neither submitted nor did he die. Then he comes back, and without him, Godzilla's dead. And he did what Godzilla couldn't do in defeating Mechagodzilla.
Actually, no, because how did he land the killing blow on Mechagodzilla? With whose help? No, with whose help? With whose help?
Okay, he had help.
A supercharged axe.
But you got to remember that was when Godzilla was laying on the ground about to die himself, so he wasn't really doing anything in the fight.
would he have been able to do
Yeah,
it?
but
Maybe.
until Godzilla supercharged the axe, Mechagodzilla was about ready to kick Kong's ass.
Okay.
It was the
Greg.
2 against 1 that did it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
The
thought-
power of teamwork.
I
I'll
thought
give you
that
that.
was a clear
You
winner.
was in the military. Did you ever get into like a fist fight with one of the guys there, and like you either won or you lost, and then like eventually, you know, because you went through drills and shit, and you go out to the bar or something, and somebody would fight you guys, and you team up on the guys that would fight you. Well, it's technically your guys' fight that you had. You still won or lost, whichever one it was, and then you teamed up to beat this other person's ass. It does happen in real life scenarios, and your entire premise is flawed because in that first one, the boat one goes to Godzilla. Kong's up on the boat puking up stuff. The second one goes to Kong.
That
The
was
third
unfair
one-
too. The first
the
one was
third
very
one-
unfair.
The third one, he goes to the ground, and Godzilla is literally on top of him, just like wolves do when they're becoming the alpha male, and screams in his fucking face, and Kong lays back down, as in the
No.
beta male, and goes down.
He
Kong-
submitted.
Motherfucker
Kong
wins.
submitted.
Kong
He
screamed
submitted.
back in his face, and then when
And he
Godzilla
laid
got up
it
and left,
down
when
while he
Godzilla got up and
sold it
left,
out.
Kong got up, tried to get up.
He tried and was dead because he got
Well,
fucked up.
Okay, but he didn't die. And he
Okay,
didn't submit.
what?
They had to restart his heart.
Yeah, they had to get the defibrillator out.
There are plenty of examples of that.
Greg, if we
And
watch a
then
UFC
ER
fight
with
this
the
weekend,
panels.
if we watch a UFC fight this weekend, if someone gets their ass beat, they have to bring the defibrillators out,
But
and he
you're
ends up
talking about-
walking off the, it walks off the thing, you know, go, yep, that motherfucker won right there.
But
See
you're
ya?
talking
The guy
about
we had to
different
defibrillate,
stakes.
He won.
You're talking about different stakes. You're talking about like an army fight, like fist fight between two people, or a UFC
Doesn't
fight
matter.
where
It's
it's a
relevant.
clear cut win draw fight, and life or death. Being a dominant alpha male. Those are two different kinds of fights. You know, just saying.
Greg, he submitted. It's over.
Ah,
Your
I don't
point is
believe it.
moved.
I
Should
don't-
we
I don't
watch the
believe it.
movie again?
He
was
Let's
sitting
watch
on
the
the
movie
throne.
again so I
He
can
was sitting on the
let's
throne
pull that
again.
scene up. Let's just pull
He
that last scene up
submitted.
again.
He submitted. He went back to go help his new boss, and then
Oh,
Then Godzilla
shit.
acknowledged him as an equal.
Ooh.
Mm.
The only thing you were missing was Chris Tucker walking over to him and going, "You gotta knock the fuck out," and then leaving. Like that's all you were missing.
Well, see, that was one thing that bothered me because the fight between them was great, and like the first time when it honestly had Godzilla not had his gun, you know, his laser mouth, whatever, you know, Kong would have kicked his ass because he was beating the shit out of him. The only thing that saved Godzilla was his little laser, you know, vomit or whatever he shoots out, his blast.
Part
And
of the package.
and
man.
after and while he was fighting with that, he was doing pretty well. It was after he stopped using that for some reason Godzilla beat him or you know pinned him down. I have no idea why, but I still think
Greg,
Godzilla won.
God,
I'm gonna say
God
Godzilla.
trumps king every time. I'm just saying.
Let Clay-
The king can bring
Greg.
all his men and all his horses, and God's just got to come down with his thunderbolt. And he's got them all left. So I'm
Did you
saying.
just call it laser vomit?
I did. Yeah.
What is up? Clay?
Hey guys.
What's up?
I heard you guys talking about this movie, and of course Joe and Chris already know. I had to jump in
Oh, yeah.
because
Mhm.
Greg, whatever you're saying, you're wrong.
You know what? That sounds right. That sounds right.
Well, all of us, all
Yeah.
of us, all of us say you're wrong, and then Clay comes in. Oh, okay, we'll agree with Clay. He's right.
Right?
Finally.
Like, what's up with that?
Well, no, just
We mean nothing.
him saying,
man.
"Greg, you're wrong." That sounds right for some
Oh,
reason.
okay.
It's just been played in my head a lot. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, Clay, what's up, man? Give us some thoughts.
I mean, I had a lot of thoughts about it when we did the review on the Patreon exclusive that we had, but there was a lot of things wrong with this film. The major thing wrong with this film was the director. Like that's the main thing that was wrong with it. I told Joe at the time, the director of this movie directed the live action Death Note movie on Netflix. That's his biggest thing that he's had on his
That's what she
credentials,
said.
on his credits. And
That's not saying much either.
it's not saying much at all. That movie was so polarizing. Majority of people hated it. Katie, for some reason, likes it. We don't know yet how or why. But the big thing was apparently he filmed up to, I think he said 5.5 hours worth of film, and he cut a majority of it. He did, not the studio, not WB. It was him. He basically said, "Hey, all of this storytelling that legitimately connects you to anything you need for questioning, he completely took out. And the connective tissue for Isa Gonzalez's character to make her more than just a the daughter of the main villain. A lot of it just doesn't make sense.
/ eye candy. Okay, let's give her proper fucking titles.
I understand that she's eye candy, but for the longest time, so many people have told me, man, I really want her to get her due for a really good movie. And every single thing she is in,
Godzilla? Get the fuck out of here! You're watching.
I'm
just saying, you're watching. I'm
expecting her to have at least something that can be like, okay, this will catapult her into the next movie. He didn't. Well, I will tell you this. He said he didn't. He doesn't even know. That's why there was no end credit scene, because he does not know. There's no fucking future for that. Well, no future for this right now.
Oh, so yeah, not for him. Not that he knows of. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? Good
That's
point.
exactly
Good
what
point.
WB
I
is
interpreted
thinking.
it the other way. Good point.
But
I mean, it's not like they can't. They're both. They've got a plethora of characters that they can pull from. That, I mean, they may not have killed. Yeah, I don't know. They had the little Mortal Kombat thing in the beginning.
Well, no, we were talking about it. I think that it's either Pacific Rim versus Godzilla, or
that. I mean,
can I speculate a theory?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love these.
This is never going to happen, but I want this to happen because I love this ridiculous movie. I love Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. So I want a meteor to come down.
Wow.
Godzilla, make a 2021 or whatever space version of Godzilla fighting Godzilla, and I think that would be.
Let it be the 2001 version.
So basically, kind of take Jason in space and have
Dude, I love Jason X.
Well, I was thinking about how they could do it and make it actually kind of semi-plausible. You would have to have some alien life form come down and like clone Godzilla.
Well, but that could. But
that's Ghidorah.
Yeah, Ghidorah's already been introduced, and they've said he was an alien. So that means that they could have something else come down the line. So it's possible.
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean, I don't think this is the end of the series, because for COVID times, it's been the most successful in the sense of money. Now, a couple of things to be like that. It's probably one of the biggest, quote unquote, biggest ones that have had where we are in this pandemic that have made anywhere close to like get excited money. Not where it could have.
I think it destroyed the Snyder Cut too, as far as people watching it. Like a lot more people.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
He's not released those numbers.
Allegedly.
But it's one of those things that you can, I mean, look how many years they did, like Godzilla versus this, Kong versus this. Like, you can go the next level. And I liked what we talked about, saying, bring Pacific Rim into this.
It's WB also. I looked it up.
Yeah. So I'm down for that. Let's. I know Pacific Rim, they fight kaiju. Let's bring in the kaiju that everyone is waiting for. Everyone always comes out for.
Well, the reason why I said it.
Let's go.
The reason why I said it was because the idea of the portal entering Hollow Earth is just like this far off of the portal that is creating the kaijus in Pacific Rim. Like it's just like a little hair, and you can blend those stories together.
Honestly, it's been so ridiculous at this point. I loved it because it reminded me of that ridiculous 90s sci-fi where nothing made sense. I was like, they just went into hyperspace to the center of the earth. Like that's
sure.
It was exactly. It was just like whatever. They didn't really care anymore. So it was just I love that. It was absurdist storytelling, and it was so they'll just like they took the Hollow Earth thing, and now they're in a separate Earth where you have giant monsters fighting giant robots. So it could totally happen.
Fucking flying snakes, and I loved it. Like fucking flinging, whatever. Give me more of that stuff.
I thought it looked beautiful.
Visually,
visually looked beautiful. Sorry, Brent, were you saying something?
Do you guys ever watch those pitch meetings, those videos on YouTube where they're kind of the one
I love those.
The guy points out every single plot hole, and they did it for this movie. And I'm like, I agree with you. I don't care. I still loved it. They're like, they're the center of the earth. Where's the sun? How do they see?
Now you got the conspiracy theories that takes the whole idea of this movie. See, I told you it's Hollow Earth. we're talking about a movie, buddy. We're talking about a movie here. Let's kind of analyze this fictional characters.
And not only a movie, you know, we're talking about a giant gorilla and a giant lizard. Like, how far do you really have to? Like, where's your limit of what you're not going to believe when you're going into a movie with a giant lizard and a giant gorilla?
You didn't know Dick Cheney, Godzilla, the server farm, and King Kong is all out there on the edge of the world on the flat Earth, Greg.
Okay. One thing that I was talking about before was the human elements of this were a little confusing to me. The storyline was, I went into this just wanting to see big monsters fight, and it's what I got, which is great. And I was trying to understand more of the story, and I'll go back and watch it again and probably get a little more. Clay, you brought up the point of the director. I'm sure probably had something to do with that, and you talked about the story being cut for this person. And Joe, you had a problem with the human element of it, right?
Yeah.
Was it the amount or how it was executed?
The lack thereof.
Well, see, I just thought kind of a mixture of both. Like, I want to see more of the monsters just fighting because, I mean, it's called Godzilla vs Kong. Like, let's have, not saying the whole movie has to be them, but because, like, you know, Frank was saying before, you need the human element to get to these people fighting, but their stories didn't seem plausible. Like the whole the Godzilla team with the desk clerk from Joker and 11, they're running in. They go into the building that's been abandoned now after a week, and now so no one can get in, but they get in, and then they get down to the 33rd level, and then they hop in the machine. It's like, oh, guess we're stuck here. Well, now we're going to Korea.
In hyperspeed.
So, from a storytelling perspective, they serve two purposes.
Okay.
Number one, it's a mystery for the reveal of Mechagodzilla, which I thought was awesome. Other than they do one other thing that actually contributes to the story. Otherwise, you can remove them completely and they don't do anything at all. And that is they destroy something that affects Mechagodzilla. I forget.
Yeah,
they sever the mechanics.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that they do that has any impact on the story whatsoever. And so primarily their drive is just basically setting up the reveal for Mechagodzilla, which I thought was awesome because, I mean, it was a bad secret. Everybody knew he was going to be in there, but the way they slow build up to, like, what are they doing with all these weird kaiju eggs? It was dumb, the fact that this team of numbskulls somehow breaks into a secure facility, but I think that's one of the least ridiculous things did it.
That's fair. I will say, so I watched it originally, and then we did the one episode. I watched it again with my girlfriend and our kids, and when they showed the eye, she originally thought that it was the orca, like a souped up version of the orca, which I guess it kind of was, whatever. But then once they did the reveal of Mechagodzilla, she was shocked. She had no idea. She didn't watch any of the trailers, so she loved it. So I will agree with you on that. That it led up to Mechagodzilla and to that reveal.
It was. There's some movies you kind of just have a tolerance for stupidity, and I don't think
this is one of
them. This reached my limit of stupidity, where I was just, because it was pretty high. I mean, it's a movie about giant monsters, so I'm like, okay, I'll give you a little leeway here as far as how stupid it's going to be, but it never surpassed that.
I like you get to. I give it a little, not a lot of leeway, just a little leeway because it has monsters. What's the lot of leeway? What's that movie that gets a lot of leeway?
I correct myself. This movie had a lot of leeway. Had a lot of leeway. But something like Christopher Nolan, who's really anal in his screenwriting, you get a little leeway because you made some good movies. So if you do something stupid, I'm going to call you out on it. This one was completely ridiculous, so it never reached that threshold of absurdity.
Well, if that's the case, what did you think of Tenet?
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it. Okay. So I decided not to spend $30 on it, and I'm just going to wait till I get it for free somewhere.
Wait till HBO Max, whenever that happens.
I think it's actually supposed to be coming to HBO Max pretty soon in the next few months. But I think this is me, unfortunately, letting my fandom take over whenever it comes to watching movies. You know, we made the joke that Mechagodzilla was basically Ghidorah, and that's what bothered me, because it wasn't just like, I don't know how they would have even made a Mechagodzilla and made it its own thing. And it does make sense that Ghidorah's consciousness goes into it. But for some reason, that just really bothered me. I
like that idea. I actually did. My son and I, when we were watching, we're debating. We're like, is he his own thing now, or did Ghidorah somehow take over him, and he's like getting revenge on Godzilla? I thought that was a cool concept, where he was like, I'm back, bitch. I'm gonna whoop your ass. I kind of like that concept a little bit.
And you wouldn't have even been able to do this in like an animated movie, but like. And this is what you get with monsters, but like, how would Godzilla know that, you know? And I know, and that's what I kind of want.
I mean,
like,
okay.
Honestly, it's such a stupid movie. You could just come up with some dumb idea. They're telepathically communicating. They're giant monsters. They have that link, you know. They just know.
In the DJ booth head, right?
Well, technically, if the theory is true, because apparently the director did say the orca was going to play a bigger role in the movie. If they in fact did steal the orca and added it into Mechagodzilla, he could still use the same frequency that Ghidorah used. And then he would be like, oh shit, it's Ghidorah.
I gotta say, just in general, I love when these movies just play around with bullshit science. Like, we're using the bone density of Ghidorah's head to transmit thought patterns into the robot that's a million miles away.
I love how you say that, Frank, because it's just like it's any of these movies. It's just like, why do some people like? I mean, we're analyzing it. I try not to analyze like. It's kind of like when someone came to me years and years ago saying, man, I really didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It was unrealistic compared to the other three. Oh, really? The other, and I'm an Indiana Jones fan, as these guys know. Really, the other three were more realistic. You got the Ark of the Covenant. You got a guy, you got a cup that gives everlasting life. Oh, yeah, and let's not forget the guy taking the heart out of Indiana Jones there. Right. You know, which one of those was most realistic?
One of my favorite bullshit science shows is the Flash, the CW Flash.
Oh,
don't get Chris started. Don't get Chris started.
They're like, I'm reading a lot of dark energy particles that transmit with the extra rays of the Flash Force, and it's absolutely ridiculous the amount of science that they throw out there that just nonsense.
Oh, it's not even the science that bothers me. It's just horde storytelling at this point.
Yeah,
I've tapped out of all CW shows for the time being.
Yeah, me too. A while back,
I watched them all.
Really?
Yeah. It's habit at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, this many years in, you almost have to, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't. Like, I struggled with last seasons. I didn't watch them all until like August because I just didn't want.
I'm still watching Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois is still.
I'm watching.
Is still good.
That's very good. I'm not a
slippery slope. You hear about all those people on meth and heroin and CW. Like, you guys got to watch out for that. You got to be careful.
I'm not a Superman fan, really, per se, but I love that show, and I think that he's my favorite version of Superman.
Nice. Very nice.
Ooh, hot take. I don't think. Well,
it's not a hot take. It's become a popular opinion.
Yeah.
You know, the fun thing is you can like all of them or none of them.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them.
Hey, guess what? You can do it. You can like them all or not like them all. They don't owe you a thing.
This is also true.
Well, I
do half measures.
I'm not a Superman guy, so when people say like he resembles my Clark Kent, I don't really have a Clark Kent to really like attribute him to. But when I watch him, I see him as this goofy kind of dad who loves his kids. It's like, yeah, I could lift buses, but I like my kids too. But he has no idea how to parent them. And then he's believable as this strong Superman that's fighting all these bad guys. So
and that's the part of the CW writing that I do enjoy. One thing that Tyler really gets well is the goofiness of Clark. Like, just recently I caught up. There was a part where he like made a deal with his kid saying, hey, you can play football, but the only way you can play football is if I'm the assistant coach. And so like he acts like he's struggling with an ice chest. Like it was just really simple but really goofy, you know. But Frank, real quick question, since I've never had the opportunity to ask this question for somebody who has said this, what is it that doesn't make you a Superman fan? And this isn't some sort of argument or debate. Like I just want to personally know, because Superman for me is my favorite.
Nice, Greg. Very nice.
I wouldn't say I'm not a Superman fan. I'm just not like a diehard Superman fan. He's just not my favorite. I mean, I read Superman. I've read some Superman books all the time, but it's just like if somebody wants to attack Superman, like I'm just like, okay, I don't feel the need to defend him as much as I would other characters.
Yeah,
he's not my boy.
I'm right there with you. I actually just wasn't a huge Superman fan at all growing up. I mean, I would read him in comics, into comics, but I never read my own Superman stuff. And Henry Cavill was actually the first guy I liked as Superman. Loved as Superman. I do like. Was it Tyler?
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, Hoechlin. Yeah. I enjoy his version as well. But just for me, it's Henry Cavill. You know, but I can respect people who like, you know, the CW version because it's a great show so far, and he does a really good job. But I'm right there with you. Superman was never my guy. He just, to me, growing up, there was not a lot of interest in a guy who couldn't be beat by anything, really. You know, getting older and reading more of his stories, I see they work around that and they have some good stories with him. I do enjoy Superman, but just growing up, it was just never my guy.
Well, I think I said this to Joe once, and correct me if I'm wrong. It may have been Chris, but recently. And I say recently as far as like maybe within the last 10 years, a lot of superhero comics nowadays, no one really has weaknesses anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like Green Lantern in the color yellow, almost like non-existent. Superman and Kryptonite, it's rarely used, or it's something that he can overcome very easily now, you know? And the whole thing with magic also. Not used very much.
Yeah.
So I just think that we don't see a lot of weaknesses in heroes nowadays,
except for constant reboots.
Correct. Yeah. And we just talked about that earlier today.
All right. Well, back to we were wrapping up Godzilla versus Kong, I suppose.
Yeah,
sure.
Dang it! See, I had something I want to say about it, but I always forget. We get on the chasing squirrels, and I forget what I was going to say.
I always chase the squirrel.
No. Hey, if we see him, we gotta chase him. I know what I was gonna say. Basically, what we're boiling this movie down to is kind of what we were talking about, you know, with different kinds of comics before, where the story's not so strong, but the artwork saves it and makes it really good. And it's one of those movies where, if you're walking into that movie expecting a really strong story, you're going to be disappointed. But I think you're expecting the wrong thing walking into Godzilla versus Kong, if that's what you're wanting. I think if you're walking in to see some great visuals and a few monsters is beating the shit out of each other, you're going to enjoy it, you know. For me, it did seem more like a Kong movie. It seemed like the first half of the movie was almost all Kong. You saw a little bit of Godzilla. Second half, you saw more Godzilla, and the third act was a little mixture of both. But it did seem almost like a sub Kong 2 movie or sequel to Kong.
Kong 2 featuring Godzilla.
Yeah. So
that's what I called it.
Yep.
I feel like it is
give you credit.
A movie. I mean, really. I mean, is it just the amount of screen time that we see Godzilla, or does Godzilla actually have like a story arc that he follows? Because I mean, it's very hard to do that with Godzilla. I feel like Kong had his whole, I need to find my home, my family, and Godzilla was just, I'm gonna kill you all. So
well, even in the first Godzilla movie, he wasn't really in that movie very much.
He didn't have an arc either. And
he wasn't in the movie for the first 45 minutes, I think, of that movie.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, and that's why there was so much debate in the King of Monsters, and even in this film, was there need for a huge human presence because of that first film. That kind of destroyed the conversation throughout the whole trilogy of the movie. But also, like, this movie very much felt like how Batman is with all of his comics. You just needed Batman's name in order to sell tickets. Yeah. And, you know, same thing for Godzilla versus Kong. Maybe the script was heavily Kong related and they wanted to do something more centric to him. But then they're like, no, we got to put Godzilla first, so that way people know this is the Godzilla movie, you know?
I mean, I'm gonna defend the story a little bit more than you guys are attacking it, because I think there are strong themes there, and the character elements of that really drive forward. And I think without it, it's just a slugfest. And I think that the themes of what the characters are doing or the characters are going through really give it more stakes other than them just fighting. For instance,
I love Kong's story. Like I told these guys when like it should have been very well known or at least expected, but the sign language reveal for Kong that legitimately shocked me. I was like, oh snap, he knows sign language. And like you should see that coming, but I didn't. And so I really did like the progression of him as a character as well. So
I one of the ones I really liked was the hubris of the Apex guy in that he's going to make this Mecha Godzilla to stop Godzilla, even though Godzilla wasn't bothering him. So it was like he was the one that brought the Godzilla attack on himself. So it was, I mean, these little things push the story forward and up the stakes and give the movie stronger themes rather than just monsters punching each other. So, I mean, the plot developments are ridiculous and stupid, but it's these subtle things that push it, that make you watch it, that you might not realize are there.
You don't forge a kryptonite bullet when you need one. You forge one so you have one when you need one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what Apex did.
I mean, just reference Injustice if you don't know what I'm talking about, because man, that was a great 5-year arc, and they wish they'd have had that.
Did you finally finish that story?
Freely. Oh, I finished it all, man. I flew through both those omnibuses. What a fucking great! I loved it, man. I couldn't put them down.
It's great.
Awesome.
Yep. Well, you guys got anything else you want to say about Godzilla vs. Kong? We watched all the monster movies. I think we're actually
Godzilla won.
Yeah, Godzilla did win.
Technically, he did win.
I like Joe's answer if it was a tie. I know Kong was sitting on the throne in Hollow Earth at the end of the movie.
Joe wants everyone to have a good time.
He gets to sit on the throne there because Godzilla's like, yeah, you could have the
you have the Godzilla's like,
you have the basement.
Yeah, I got the 7 Seas, bitch. Like you can have the crawl space in the basement.
Do you need us to restart you with a big ship?
Maybe.
Yes.
Oh man!
All right. Well, check it out. I think next up for our movie series is the fan voted Dark Knight series. So we're gonna do Batman Begins. I think starting next week. I have to look at the schedule. So if everybody's ready, we're gonna dive into the Nolan trilogy after this.
I haven't watched any of those films since they were in theaters.
This is gonna be funky then.
Ironically, I just finished listening to the Squadcast Films coverage of Batman Begins.
Oh,
nice.
So,
do what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying something. All right, cool. Well, check us out. We'll be covering that. Like I said, probably starting next week. So we'll get that going. But that wraps up the monster series of movies. Don't know if there's going to be another one, but this seemed like a fitting end if they're going to have one. I'm okay.
Good for now.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to the next topic here. And unfortunately, I don't have anything to say about this one because Disney Plus failed me today, which is yet another reason why HBO Max is superior on top of better content and all this other stuff. But the day that Disney Plus sends me a email saying they're going to raise my subscription price, which is fine, I understand that, I can't watch their programming for some reason. Like the 5th episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier just would not play for me. I tried like 12 times. So, but I know you guys want to talk about it.
No, I'm gonna bow because I need to get to bed.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, Chris, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, definitely. And you can find me on Twitter at Chris Balga, and you got World's Finest True Believers at Finest Believers, and Marvel Alliance at Marvel A Podcast.
Check it out. That's live every Tuesday night.
Definitely. Thanks for good seeing you again, Frank. We'll be talking soon.
You too. Have a good night.
See you, Chris.
You
good
too.
luck at the guys' sale.
Yeah, have fun tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Oh yes, make money. See ya.
All right, so whoever wants to get this one started about Falcon and Winter Soldier, I haven't seen it yet, but spoil it away. I don't care. I'm going to try to watch it later. So
I'll binge watch when it's done, but spoilers don't bother me.
Okay, so Frank, have you watched it?
I did. I thought it was a much-needed character development episode.
Okay.
Yes.
They've spent a long time pushing the plot, and now the characterization caught up to it. And I think it was a very well-done episode. I thought it was very good.
And really for every single character too, which is like normally you just get like either one of the main characters or two. This was for all the characters in play.
they packed a lot into this. Like they accomplished a lot of characterization in just a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if Greg. Oh, well, you probably didn't watch it just because you hadn't seen the show yet. But I made a TikTok today, and it was great.
That was
absolutely great. Right. So Travis Snell said a while back that John Walker and Tony Stark share a lot of similarities, and Brent and Chris actually talked about it on Marvel Alliance, and they were naming all these things that they have in common, right? And then today, there's a big reveal at the very end. There's an end credit scene.
Oh, okay.
You get it. Okay. So the end credit scene is that John Walker no longer has the actual shield. So he's making his own. And then I spliced the footage from Marvel Alliance with the end credit scene with a scene from Iron Man 1 with Stain telling his engineer that like Tony Stark made this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. But other than that, Frank, just like you were saying, there was a lot of character development here. I really, really enjoyed it. A lot of really empowering moments, especially with Sam and Isaiah. Love those moments as well. My thing, though, was the scene with I keep forgetting her name. Is it Carly?
Yeah.
Yeah. When she's in the park, and you start to see her spiral.
Oh yeah, she's full on supremacist right now. Like she's
because there's a moment where I can't know. I don't know if they gave him a name, but one of her
underlings.
Yeah, one of her underlings is like, we're working with criminals now, and
the long hair, the one that my girlfriend thinks.
And she straight up says, "Haven't you heard? We are criminals. If they're going to call us criminals, we're going to act like criminals." And so that spiral, I don't know if I want her to get out of it, because I don't think she will. I don't think she survives.
There's nothing. Well, I don't think she'll survive either. But I don't think there's any way to come back from this. But that's why I said this on Marvel Alliance. I made a comment to them. I think she will become a martyr, and I think the Flag Smashers will be a small presence through maybe the next phase of the MCU. Okay.
The main thing I'm disappointed with so far, and this I hope that this would change, I don't know, is Zemo's involvement in the plot and the storyline. I feel like when I don't watch previews, so I didn't watch any of the commercials or anything leading up to the show. But knowing that Zemo was involved, he was my favorite MCU baddie, so I wanted him to have more of a controlling role in the threat, and he was kind of like a sidekick, So
he was definitely more manipulative in getting what he wanted to do, especially like last episode when like he got the information for where the funeral was at, but didn't give it completely to Sam and Bucky, and then went with them, got captured, escaped, and then like he had his own manipulation going on. I liked his character. Like he was one of those characters that I liked him in Civil War. He didn't do much. He literally just there to move the plot along, but that was good. Like the way he did it and manipulated everybody worked perfectly for how things were set up and why Tony and Steve were at odds with each other. In this one, he's still trying to play that, but Sam and Bucky are having none of it. The problem is he's not playing them. He was playing John Walker. And John Walker, who doesn't know what he's doing, fell into it, especially there in the last episode.
I felt like he didn't have as much control over the situation as he did in Civil War. You know, in Civil War he was the big puppet master, and that's the role I wanted him to have in this show. And that might just be what I wanted, and that's not what I got. So I might have sour grapes about it. But
I totally agree with you, Frank. Especially after the scene that we got in the what was it, the port where he killed the scientists. Like that big scene showed that he is not somebody to mess around with. You know, he again was stating, "Hey, I am here to get rid of the super soldier serum," and he progressed in that way throughout the next few episodes. And then to get where he's at now, just to assume that he's gonna get away. If he's just going to be that villain that just keeps getting away, that kind of diminishes what he became in Civil War. You know?
I wanted to hear more about the mask too and get more into his history. Like that's why I thought the end credit scene was going to be him escaping and to come back into the plot somehow. But maybe we've seen the last of him. I really don't know. I
mean, I think we've seen last in Falcon Winter Soldier. He's definitely coming back. Like he's not dead. He was the IOD specifically said we're taking him to the raft. He's gonna come back. He'll show up again. I don't know what movie, but I can see him come back in the movie.
I badly want a Thunderbolts movie. Like really, really.
There's been, I mean,
biggest rumor. That's the biggest rumor right now.
And if that's the case, perfect spot.
I want Mickey Rourke. I want Michael.
Yes.
I want them all coming back.
It's gonna be hard with a few of those, but okay.
So if you could get Mickey Rourke to come back, that would be awesome.
Well, I don't know what? Like multiverse, dude. Like by the time that would happen, Thunderbolts, anything would happen. They've already established the multiverse in Doctor Strange. So
that's a cop out, though. I want to
sure
MCU
but,
Thunderbolts.
Like Marvel just needs to throw the money. Like at this point, they can throw the money.
Yeah. I think they got the
people would be confused. Mickey Rourke, he's had so much work done that he looks like a brand new person every 5 years. I mean, they're gonna look at like, who the fuck's this brand new actor with a tight face? I mean, I'm just saying, buddy. I'm just saying, like, he fucking calm down, Mickey.
All right, so this show for me, like I said, I haven't watched the latest episode yet. After watching the first episode with the opening action scene and everything, I was like, oh, I'm going to love this show. And then it kind of started to die down where I was like, I'm not as interested in this show. I don't know why. It's not a terrible show. But from what I heard from my friend today who'd seen the episode, you know, he's at work and he's watched the episode this morning, was telling me, he was like, just wait, things keep getting better. Things keep getting better. So,
Greg, I will say this has a mixture of everything that you got in the other episodes.
Okay.
This was an hour long, and you got a little bit of everything that you got in episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. And maybe that'll work for me a little more. And there's what, 8 episodes of this?
No, the last episode is going to be next week.
Next week. Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then we don't get anything until Black Widow.
No,
and then Loki.
No, Loki in June 9th or 11th.
Excuse me. You get the Bad Batch to hold you over on
MCU.
Yeah.
If you're
we'll talk about MCU. Yes. We will watch the Bad Batch. Yes, we will watch the Bad Batch for sure.
I know. I think you're being a little spoiled after not having anything for 2020. You're like, we're not going to get anything until like end of May.
I know. No, and I think the one thing that made me that way, to be completely honest, is, and I know they always talk big and they never deliver, but with DC Universe said, hey, you're going to be getting 52 weeks of new content. 52 weeks. And
DC
that went straight out the window. Like almost the first show that they debuted, it went straight out the window. And I would love for that to happen, but I know how unrealistic that it is. Like you need to have buffers, you need to, calm yourself down. Yeah, you need time to breathe. I know that Netflix this year is going freaking insane, and they are also having 52 weeks of new content.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 movies a week.
I haven't been that into the Netflix stuff though. So they're adding shows, and I'm just like,
I've been more into their animation, to be completely honest. So
okay,
I just heard that this week Castlevania is getting a 4th season. So
I watched.
I
watched their Anthony Mackie movie, something End of the Line or Under the Line, Under the Wire or something like that.
Oh, but there's another one that came out today. It's called Synchrony or Synchronic or whatever.
Send me a little email for that. So it's funny because my son made all of our accounts, my whole family's accounts, and my name is Daddy on the account. So when Netflix sends me an email, it's like, "Hey, Daddy, we got something." You're
like, I should not click on this, but wait.
Yeah, it seems like a trap. It's a trap. Hey, can I be honest, man? Loki is going to be interesting coming out because I love the character. I have no interest in Black Widow. Like I just don't care. I could not care less if I see that movie. Like if it happens, I have time and it's on, it's available for me to watch. I'm gonna watch it.
There's this new narrative that they're using, like her legacy to propel this movie, because there's and people have already made edits of it. There's a rumor that there's a Chris Evans cameo in credit scene where he saves her.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt it. 100% doubt it. But
yeah. Well, what I think it is it's not that she's already dead or anything like that. It's I think I'm ready to move into a new like story for Marvel. Like this still feels like it's lingering in that whole area, and I get they're bridging the gap and they're moving forward. I think I'm just so ready for like Fantastic Four and X-Men that like I'm not going to get really excited for anything else in Marvel until I start to see that. Like show me that, give me some confirmation. Like I want to see those, and maybe that's what it is for me.
You're basically ready for Phase 4, and this is a Phase 2 movie.
That might be
Phase 3. I don't remember which one.
It should have been Phase 1. Let's be honest.
I'm really debating whether or not I'm going to drop the money and watch it.
That's my thing.
I'm actually excited for it for a couple reasons. Number one, I'm excited to see Taskmaster.
Yes.
Number 2, I'm excited because when I watch the trailers, I really love that theme song. That theme music really pumps me up. And 3, I think that this movie was a little bit of fan service because a lot of people were calling for a Black Widow solo movie. Right. And I don't even know if they had that on this like slate. Like, I don't know if they were thinking that. And then they gave it to us. So, I mean, those kind of things combined make me want to watch it. And another interesting thing that I learned about was the new character that they introduced in this episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm not going to say who it is, but chronologically speaking, I think that character's first MCU appearance was supposed to be Black Widow. So it's kind of weird.
That would make sense because I remember hearing, well, this was supposed to come out originally before
WandaVision.
Well, yes, before Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Last year.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be the beginning of Phase 4.
Yes.
And then it was going to be this, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then I think like it was either another movie, Eternals, and then WandaVision, or WandaVision and then the Eternals. I can't remember which. Obviously, everything got shifted.
They had a packed slate, and everything had to get shuffled.
Everything got shifted. But I remember hearing the reason why Black Widow was first was because a character was going to show up in Falcon and Winter Soldier. If it's that character that they introduced,
I saw
it makes sense
online somewhere. So
because I was thinking it was supposed to be. My whole theory is her sister, Natasha's sister, becomes new Black Widow, and she was going to show up.
So
if it's this character, I like it.
It would be interesting to see the fan dynamics, the fact that we're introduced to this character in this show, rather than being like, "Oh, the character's showing up now." It becomes an introduction rather than a cameo, which is.
And I wonder if they changed up any scenes with that character in this movie during the show. I don't know what to talk about. You'll find out.
There was additional. Well, there was pickups.
Yeah, they changed some things.
There was pickups. Yeah.
But I wonder if her character is in Black Widow, if it changed in here because this came first before Black Widow.
Oh yeah,
You see what I'm
technically
saying?
Black
That's what
Widow
she
was
said.
already like completely finished filming. That's right.
Correct.
You're
So,
right.
I don't know.
You're right. You're right.
That's interesting. But, all right. Well, y'all were kind of carrying this not Black Widow, gosh, this Falcon Winter Soldier conversation because I'm not caught up on it. Is there anything else you want to bring up about it?
Well, the only last thing I want to say is I am really enjoy the way that they utilize Falcon's wings when he fights.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
The action scenes are really good in this. I'll give you that. Like the first action scene, the opening scene in the first episode I saw, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! Like absolutely amazing." So
You're
I'll give
really
credit
gonna
there.
like the opening scene of this episode too.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you can watch it.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll work whenever I get off here. So I don't know why it wasn't working early. Maybe it was my phone. I don't know because I only tried to watch it on my phone, but I don't know. So. But all right, well, let's wrap that one up then. Hop on to the last topic of the night. Invincible.
I'm gonna take off. I haven't seen
All right.
Invincible at all, so
Okay.
Oh, but
I've
You're
been
gonna
really
enjoy it.
chatting with you fellows for the past hour or so.
Yeah, Frank, it was good seeing you again, man.
You too. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me on.
Yeah, Frank, and hit me up at the Bat52 on Twitter, man. Message me and give me some information for links for your Kickstarter and all your other stuff, and I'll put it in the show notes. So, and
Yes.
you're welcome on here anytime, man. Just hit me up.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy.
see you.
Later, man. All right, fellas. Let's talk some Invincible, man. I am loving
God,
this.
I'm in
series.
love with this show. Like,
Yes. Yes.
They don't know,
Now,
Greg.
Joe-
They don't know.
it just caresses.
I was
me.
gonna say,
It just
I don't
rubs me
know.
down.
And
I
that's
have
what's
to
so great
ask
about
you-
it.
I have to ask you two. Have you made those orders yet?
No,
I have not. No. No.
Okay.
I really
So-
It's on
want
back order.
Well, it's on back order.
Mhm.
I'm sure the title is booming right now.
Mhm.
It
But
is.
also, I really wanted to talk to Chris about this because other than
He
it
doesn't
being
like
in
us.
other than it being in back order, Joe, maybe you might have some insight on this. Do you think also it has to do with the shakeup with Diamond?
Probably. Well, only because, and I don't know. Chris would know. Obviously,
Specifics, but that's
on
it's just for the
his-
fact that
especially his
we're
friend.
yeah.
Like, because I'm assuming you ordered the books through
Through his website.
organic account. Yeah, so did I. I ordered the last 6 because I've got the first 6
Okay.
Ultimate Collection.
You mother trucker.
What, do you really? Come on, really?
Yeah.
It's right there.
Public library right there.
I'll give you my address and you can send them to me and I'll read them and I'll gently use them and I'll send them back to you.
Look, hey, maybe we'll see. But I ordered the last
Dealsies.
6 through him, and like 3 of the 6 are on back order. And he even said, "Hey, Invincible's popular. It's going to be a bit. Nope, no problem." I didn't think about the Diamond thing though. Like with that whole shakeup, that could be why he's having an issue getting it. And it makes sense. It really does.
Greg and Nathan, if you don't know, Marvel recently, Diamond is the distributor for basically any and all comics. DC left them last year.
Mhm.
But now it seems that Marvel is either trying to renegotiate some things with Diamond themselves or they're planning to leave Diamond altogether. And that is the big two gone from the biggest distributor who had the monopoly on that business.
Yeah, I thought they did leave Diamond.
Did
but
they
Diamond will still, like, they have to order through Penguin Random House.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So
then
yeah,
they can still ship them, but they have to do another step.
yes. So it's the same thing that DC did. They're going to keep whatever kind of negotiating they have to basically just help the comic shops transfer, basically.
Yeah.
So
October
for
is when it's supposed to.
so for the
switch
next
over.
few months, they'll still use Diamond in some sort of capacity, but after October, they're no more. But with that, it kind of leaves Diamond in this now heavy creative control to manipulate indie comics however they want. And if indie comics can't afford it, it could really damper on what comic shops get those books. So just something to think about for any of our listeners. When you're ordering stuff, I 100% think that you should all get stuff from your local comic book shop. But if and only if worse comes to worse, there is always Amazon. It's just more expensive.
There's other avenues as well. Obviously, organic price organically priced or organic price comics.
Yeah, that is an
That's a
online
good
shop.
one. I know my comic shop. I've used them a few different times.
I've actually
They're
never
decent.
used them. I use them for pricing, but
So,
I've never used
yes.
them to.
But I remember using them years ago, and they offered free shipping over $50.
Nice.
So like earlier on, I would always I'd only need like, I don't know, 8 issues to fill out a run. I'm like, well, what else they got to get me up to that $50 so I can get free shipping? Didn't need it, but I wanted that free shipping. They've gone away from that, so that's
I told Nathan and Greg last time we talked that organic price books is actually cheaper than Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
So,
but they don't. As of right now, he's dealing mainly in omnibuses, ultimate collections, stuff like that,
trades. Yeah,
and trades, which is, I mean, perfect. Again, I got the last 6 volumes of the ultimate collection for Invincible, and I got the giant omnibus of Skyward. So
nice.
Again, that was on back order as well, but whatever.
Yeah.
Can I be honest about why I don't order a lot of comics online? Why I love going to the like actual brick and mortar store and buying. One, I love supporting the brick and mortar stores. It's just a better experience for me. And 2, I work for the post office. Like, I see what happens to some of these packages, and I know not everything. It's like watching a house being constructed. There's going to be some things done wrong. There's going to be some things that can be hit and look past. But
are you one of the ones that want to get off early? So you just go to a dumpster and you're like, "Fuck this mail," and start dumping it in the dumpster.
Well, Chris has reassured us.
You've seen those stories over the years.
Yeah.
Chris has reassured us that his friend at Organic Price Books ships them very, very well. Yeah. He actually sent me a photo of
Amazon's putting you out of business,
shipping.
Greg.
So
I order. So I've got a brick and mortar I go to, which I'm kind of starting to go away from, only because I've had a few friends that work there that have quit and have told me some stories of things that have happened behind the counter.
Oh yeah.
I used to work at a comic shop. I can probably agree with most of the things that they say.
Are comic shops like restaurants?
Comic shops, it really depends. It really depends because unfortunately,
comic shops are like everywhere. You don't ever want to know what goes on behind the closed doors.
Right.
Yes.
But the other thing is I've been ordering through them for the last like 3 years. DCBS, Discount Comic Book Services. Okay. I pre-order a lot of stuff through there, and I get a shipment from them once a month. And their packaging is immaculate. Like, not only do they shrink wrap the comics together, they also put like foam in between everything. It's done perfectly.
Okay, and that's the key right there, is finding somebody who ships it well.
That's also Indiana, Fort Wayne based.
One thing for me, because I know that the comic shop that I worked at will never listen to this podcast. The owners are unfortunately just like they used to be fans, and now the money has gotten in the way.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the big thing.
Ironically, mine is opposite. The money's not gotten in the way. There's a lack thereof. So they keep changing things up, thinking they're gonna get more business.
Well, the big thing is like if something like for instance, Invincible is now getting really, really popular. Well, the book sells the Ultimate Collection. Let's just say it sells for $24.99 on the back. Well, because it's popular, maybe somebody might buy it if it's $40.
I've had this conversation. Well, I wrote into Chris and Jordan at DC DC Squadcast a while ago, because my shop does something like that for the first week. When a new comic comes out, a new popular comic comes out, they would be like, all right, so you could buy this at cover price if you buy $15 worth of comics. And then after the first week, it's up to like $15 by itself. Perfect example is new Nightwing with Tom Taylor.
Yeah.
I didn't get it the week I have that pre-ordered. That's something it's in my pull list all the time. I go there and I grab the book, and apparently the guy scans it and it rang up $15. Now I hadn't been there in like a couple weeks after it came out, but they have the book priced at $15 right now. I'm like, well, why is this at $15? Like I pre-ordered this, like it should be like, oh, sorry, dropped it back down to the regular price. But I'm like, why is it $15? Like I get it, Taylor's a big name, and this is supposed to be a big issue. Well, what kicked this book up?
The reason why, and I don't know if any of you guys read Nightwing, but
the Future State one you're talking about?
No, not Future State. It's the one that comes out that came out just recently.
Okay,
it's a new #1.
I mean, it's 78,
introduction to a new character being the dog that now he has,
Wing Girl.
And there is also a new character, quote unquote, who is going to be running Bloodhaven. Speculators ruin the market for comics.
Yeah, they do. Look at Batman Damned.
Batman Damned, Bat Penis, Bat Wang. Brought that
back there.
I have it CGC'd signed. I got it CGC'd signed by Jim Lee at a 9.8.
Oh,
nice.
So it actually might be a 10. It's one of the two.
That's nice.
Ooh, aren't you special?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
I'll take them out of the package.
I wouldn't be. Well, I think it's finally gone down in price, but a CGC of Batman Damned right now with any signature, whether it be Lieber Mayho, Jim Lee, whatever, used to go for $300. Which is absolutely insane. Outside of the CGC, that means that it would probably go for anywhere from $150 to $175, which is also insane.
I've gotten quite a few books off of Amazon, whether it be graphic novels or regular books or whatever, and then I got a lot. I go up to like really my quote comic shop is like a Slackers. You know, if you ever heard of the it's like the Slacker. So you can go in there and find stuff, but wow, you want to talk about overpriced, jacked up shit, and I get it because they're struggling too. Like, who wants to go in and who's going in to buy old DVDs and Blu-rays at this point? I mean, I know some of us are collectors, but like, who's going into like Something About Mary on DVD? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like I get what they're doing, and then like I've got a Books A Million. And tying it back into Invincible, like I was up there looking, I kind of checked on Amazon, which it's sold out, and the price is slowly going up. Like the more I check it, like at first it was like $28, and I could have ordered it then, but for the Ultimate Collection, the big thick little bastard or whatever, and like the more I keep checking it, the more it's going up.
Yeah,
and so God, I don't know, like what was I gonna say? And I was checking for that stuff, and then I couldn't find it there, and I've been checking on that organic price book. So, like you were saying, it's sold out everywhere. But what I did find when I was up at my Books A Million up there is I finally found, because this ties back into the same thing about when a show gets popular, how the shit skyrockets off there, is I finally got volume 1 and 2 of The Boys from when I was up there, because they finally had that shit up there front and center, and it was at a pretty decent price. And I've been reading around a couple other things, so as soon as I get to that, like I can't wait to dive in to that, because just flipping through a couple pages, I was like, oh yeah,
that whole series.
That is a Nathan comic. That is a Nathan comic.
Oh boy, yeah,
100%. But it is something that is very, very annoying, just because, like, for us as readers, you get a book, and DC is saying, hey, we pay our writers and artists nowadays a huge amount. Fucking awesome comic right there. So we are paying our artists and writers a shit ton of money, but we're going to sell the comic at this price and distribute it worldwide, so that way we can make up for that price. And then the actual comic shops say, yeah, that's true, but now I have control over it, and you can legitimately do nothing about it because I'm still giving you money. So
yeah, end of the day, they'll give them the $4 the comic sells for, and they'll pocket the other 11.
And then comic shops will say, well, I don't know why people are going to digital comics nowadays. Well, it's because of shit that you do like that.
Well, that's funny because the comic shop I go to, I buy everything at cover price with the exception of like specialty stuff.
There are still good comic shops out there.
Yeah, like everything.
There's still good comic shops out there, but I am saying a lot of comic shops have jumped into the speculation game because they think they can get rich.
Yeah,
like I know mine. It's Summit Comics, Cards and Games, or Cards, Comics, and Games. Something they've got online presence as well, and they had to they started pushing that because they weren't selling. Like they've got cards, sports cards. They try to push that as much as possible. No one's buying those anymore. The comics section is. And I mean, not many majority of people are not buying anymore. Majority of people aren't buying floppy comics anymore.
Right.
Everybody's right. Everybody's going digital, or everybody is starting to go trades.
Yeah,
so trade weighting. I mean, I don't have. That's me. I'm the trade waiter now, and I'm like an omni waiter. Like I'm
exactly.
Especially I get the entire story.
Well, especially since now both DC Universe Unlimited or Infinite, and then Marvel Unlimited, like you only have to wait 3 to 6 months. And now you can read the story on that, and it's $10 a month.
That shit hurt my eyes reading Frank's comic because like I'm not used to reading shit on my screen. Like I was reading that, and like by the time it was over, I was like, "Oh god."
Well, did you read it on? Did you read it on your phone? Or did you read it on a tablet?
I did.
Okay,
that's probably
so
why,
I've got a tablet which is about comic, maybe just a little bit smaller than comic size. It's like a 10-inch tablet, and that's
you just turn the brightness a little bit down, and you're good to go.
Yep.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. And one of the big things with this, the comic shop that I used to work at, they were so into speculation. They don't own, but they basically like monitor Reddit for speculators.
Really?
And yeah. So there was a series called X-Men Gold a while back, and there was a wedding issue that was bagged. Bagged comics are the worst because they're like, oh, there's going to be a variant, and there's going to be this, and there's going to be that. Even bagged, like there's like this black polyester bagged thing. So it's a mystery bag. So when you open it, you don't know which cover you're going to be getting. So those sometimes will be priced up maybe $1. They bought like 4 times more than they usually do to keep a fourth of it in the back to never sell. And then they priced the bags up $4 more.
Wow.
And they will keep those black bags there, and they will say, hey, we will keep them maybe for another 10 or 20 years. So that way, if there's an off chance that it might come back in rotation for being popular, we can make money off of it. They're losing money.
Wow.
They spend their money just to lose it. Like that's all they do. And that's why I say they have lost the enjoyment of just being a fan of comics.
Right.
I like how we talk about the first episode of Invincible. We just 15 minutes.
Let's jump into this. Let's jump into this because me and Joe, we have a lot of experience with the comic. This was the same but different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I still love about this show.
This is because it's been how long has it been? 4 years since I've read the entire series. So I'm remembering like the key events, but I'm not remembering how it gets to that point. And I'm loving it. Like I'm loving like this episode in particular. I knew this was coming once I saw D.A. Sinclair, but I'm like, all right, so how are they gonna get there? What's gonna happen?
Does anybody know the voice of D.A. Sinclair?
I do, because I actually clicked on the Amazon thing.
Yeah, I love Amazon.
I love that feature where you just hit pause and it brings up the cast, and you're like, all right. I love that.
Ezra Miller.
The
Flash.
Yep.
Ezra Miller.
Yep. Yeah. It's amazing. I love it.
Dude, the entire voice casting of this show is phenomenal.
Oh man,
so good.
Mark Hamillback as the costume guy. I love that.
Art. Yep.
Who is it? J.K. Simmons.
Nolan. Fucking
perfect. perfect.
Mhm.
Yes, his wife, perfect. Like everything
Sandra
about
Oh.
him. Yeah,
Like every
What was her name?
Sandra Oh or
yeah. I think you're right. Yeah,
Sandra Oh. Yeah,
Mhm.
like it. I don't. Whatever Seth Rogen did to get these people, awesome. Good job, buddy.
And he's in charge. He's still in charge of getting the live action movie in the works. He said
No,
it's still
like-
it's
You
still
know what?
happening.
Take my
He
money.
said it's still happening.
I was.
The-
Seth Rogen is one of those characters. Like when he showed up, like when I saw him in movies, I'm like, okay, he's a fun character, whatever. The minute I heard he was going to start producing and making comic books into TV shows and movies, I'm like, I mean, I'll give it a shot. I didn't watch Green Hornet. I've only seen bits and pieces, but what I saw, I liked. I watched the first season of Preacher. Love that. I need to watch the rest of it. I'll get to that at some point. This is amazing. Like what he's doing here is wonderful. I've got complete faith in what he's going to do for the live action. Plus, having Kirkman there every step of the way.
that's
This is
Perfect.
this is rapidly growing to be one of like my favorite animated series because the animation is so good that's so brutal and realistic, and like there's still some heart to it, to where you still find little time to smile and like shine, which is like I will be the first to admit the first like 6 seasons of Walking Dead, like that was my show. Like I was like, yeah, this is the shit. And then they did some weird stuff and some even dumber stuff, and I was like, even it drove me away, and I was like, whatever, I'm out. But I'm just saying, like, and it kind of reminds me of those first, like those golden seasons, you know what I mean? Like of that stuff where, like I said, it's brutal and like I said, I love animation, and especially good, like just that beautiful, the so realistic animation, and like just the detail they put into the stuff on their suit, like holes in their suits and cars scraping the ground and tire marks and you know what I mean, just smash. Like I really enjoy it. The voice cast is phenomenal, and like just each week, like I don't know what to expect, but man, there's always a lot more blood than I think's coming, and just like like I even felt bad for the douchebag that was like got taken away. I'm like, holy shit, he might be a douche. But like, what? Like,
his
jaw
is just gone. Yeah.
The animation's amazing, and I love the design of Invincible suit. Like I think it looks awesome. The color scheme's great, and it almost has that motion comic look to it at some points in times, and then at some points in times you look at it and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The scenes. I love the switching up of the animation in this. Because it's a little bit of mixture of both, but I love the real world feel of it too. Like, the cussing, the reactions, it just seems more down to earth. I love Kirkman's writing, man. And like, he does a great job with this. And this show, Nathan, I'm right there with you, man. It is quickly becoming one of my favorite animated series that I've probably ever seen. Just absolutely loving it. I want to buy the comics really bad, but they're a little more difficult right now.
Good luck.
So yeah,
I
will eventually get them.
I will say there is a tease at the very beginning of this episode. It's the opening of this episode that's going to make this show so much better. And I say so much better just because it continues the main like mystery of the show, with the two kids digging up.
Oh, that was the end of the episode.
Is it the end? I thought it was the beginning.
That
was the ending. Yeah, sorry.
Because I don't know what the hell is going on. I kind of get it, but I don't get it. Like I don't know.
So
yeah, you'll see
the presence. I don't see something that is a little bit different, not very spoilery. I don't remember the twins showing up.
Really?
In that scene. Is it the same? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because they were there to.
Okay, yeah.
But they're like, oh, thanks for doing our work, boys. We'll take it from here.
Yeah. But to go back to the college thing, it's so funny because I was talking to Joe about this in a chat on Twitter, talking about how
really good social justice course.
the fact
college kids, like
the big thing about, I would say probably the first 20 something, maybe 30 something issues of this book is about Mark being in high school and his difficulty going through that, and then choosing to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a big presence in the comic. The show has not had a huge presence in the high school. And so for him to make this jump to college all of a sudden, it was kind of just like, hey, we want to throw this part of the comic into the show, which I'm glad, but it did kind of just throw you into it.
I mean, it wasn't him at college, though. It was them just visiting.
It is, but they made the choice. They're still making the choice.
They're like, yeah,
now,
I'm good. We're going to go
this
here.
This is still something that could be up for debate, considering how Amber feels about Mark right now. You know?
I think it's still going to happen.
Oh, I like, but I'm saying,
yeah,
with the way Kirkman is changing things up, we personally can't say if we.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it, but that's perfect. Like, and I love that. I love that Kirkman is coming on and still like having things he wants to do, ideas he have for the comic, but he's like, no, I don't want to do it right now. Where I ended the comic was perfect. He comes on here, 5 years later, however long it's been, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to add things now. I can add things now because you can separate the comic from the show. They're two separate entities. You can read the comic and enjoy that and love that, and it's start to finish. You have a definitive end. You got the show now, which you start it. Okay, cool. We're going to do elements of the comic, but we're going to do our own things too. Like, yeah, it's the same but different, and both are great. Both you
don't lose anything from one or the other.
Yep, they're both their own thing, and they both complement each other.
Okay. Well, and that was actually a question I was going to ask you. As somebody who hasn't read this story yet, was it like a beginning and end story? Like, is there definitely an end point, or is it something they continue on? It sounds like you said they wrap it up.
In the comics, he wraps it up pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, considering the way his most recent comic, The Walking Dead, he kind of just, and he did write an article. He did do an interview saying, like, I just didn't feel it anymore, and he ended it. With Invincible, he said at one point, hey, the comic is ending in this many issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he planned it out.
Yeah. And that's nothing again. Like, he obviously wants a creator, and we probably could have said something asked Frank about this. You know, you've got ideas.
No question.
You have your story, but you have your ideas. Once you get your story and you didn't use up all the ideas, well, those ideas didn't work for the story you were telling. Doesn't mean those ideas are bad. It's just right now what you were trying to say, it just didn't work. Right. Now Kirkman has the avenue to put those ideas back in a way that will work.
All I'm gonna say is, what is it? Hashtag bring back Battle Beast. Is that the fucking lion guy with the big hammer from last episode?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just wait.
What's his name?
It's Battle Beast.
Battle Beast,
because I can't. I want to see more of that guy. Because
you will.
He didn't take no shit from none of them, and was just beating it, like literally beating the fucking guts out of him. I was like, oh my god,
you're gonna
care about none of them.
If they do it how they do it in the comic, you will like his next appearance 10 times more.
Okay. Clay, did you catch? Because I think we talked about this on the Twitter chat. Did you catch? I'm forgetting her name now. The mom's subtle hint to Nolan's job.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up.
Yep.
What's his job?
So in the comic, he's a writer. He's an author.
Yes.
They hadn't mentioned.
I heard her say some book.
Yeah, yep.
Yes. Okay. So in the comic, he is a famous author, like almost worldly known.
Yeah, that's his identity.
And they had his identity secret. He's an author in his human life, and then he's Omni-Man in his superhero life. That's how it is in the comics.
Okay.
And here we are 7 episodes in?
This is episode 6?
6 or 7? It's
5 actually.
Is it actually only 5? There's no way, because there was
the first 3 came out.
First 3 came out.
I think it was 3 weeks.
Okay,
it was 6.
Yeah, okay. So 6 episodes in, and there was no mention of who he was outside of Omni-Man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then today or this week, there was technically today, because that's when it's supposed to drop.
Thank you, Amazon.
There was the subtle comment of, "Oh, I thought you had to write more pages tonight."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So him being an author is a huge part of the story.
Yep.
And I'm so glad because
yes,
you were talking about how you haven't read it in 4 years. I was on Joe's podcast to review the first volume.
Yeah.
That's when I
the first
started.
time I read it since.
That's when I started my reread. I hadn't read it again until Invincible started the show. Since then, I have now read a big portion of where him being an author is very important. So that's why I got reminded of it. And I was like, oh, like, when are they going to do this in the show? And so I'm really glad that they did throw that little bone to us as the readers.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the entire story, so is this 8 episodes in it for the series?
Have they confirmed?
8 or 9?
I thought
That's
it
what I was going to
10.
ask.
Let me do a little bit of research. Y'all keep going.
Either way, when they end this series, is that the whole book? Like, is that the story, the whole thing?
No,
or do they
Will
have,
that be
are-
volume 1? No,
that's what I'm wondering. Are we like 22
so-
books in?
Okay. It's really tough because they're kind of jumping around.
Okay.
Like the stuff that happened in today's episode, I think happens in what? Okay, so if you go by regular trades,
Uh-huh.
like the first Ultimate Collection has like the first 3 trades in it. And then I think it's after that it starts to be like 2 trades apiece.
Holy shit! It's only
What?
8 episodes.
8?
All right, Clay,
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
was
have to get
gonna say,
together for
No!
small screen rundown.
So I
Better have.
just typed in Invincible Show episode count. The very first thing that pops up is 8 episodes. It's here. It says www.republicworld.com. It says how many episodes is Invincible. The 3 of its hour-long episodes were released on March 26th. Now the series will be followed by 5 more episodes, which will make it a total of 8 episodes. We only have 2 weeks left of this.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And
because I'm
that-
looking at the schedule and I have the
If that is
penultimate,
true,
for next week.
so the events that happened in this
Oh, I can't
episode.
wait to watch it.
I would say that's like volume.
You
Is it volume 4?
So
Volume
jelly.
5.
Volume 5.
Okay.
I'm so jealous.
There are 20.
Sorry, David.
Yeah. I just want to read it.
No. So the regular volumes, there's 25 volumes, and
Wow.
we already jumped all the way through volume 5.
Is it 25? I thought
jumped
that was
around.
26.
25 or 26. It's still right there, though. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're doing the Ultimate Collection, you have 12. So that
Mhm.
means that you are only going through the first 2 volumes
Ultimate,
of the Ultimate Collection.
Give or take.
This is
Yeah,
moving.
depending on where they end up. Yeah.
This is moving so fast.
So you'd say maybe every
Nobody saw that.
2.5, 3 episodes is probably like 1 volume.
But here's the
Volume
thing.
Of the ultimate.
They're jumping around though. That's like they're jumping around because what
There's
was
stuff
it? Like,
that they could bring back in season
There's
2.
there's stuff that I feel like
I'm assuming. I'm assuming.
now again, like I said, the very first volume that me and Joe talked about,
Mhm.
that was completely cut from the show.
well, yes and no, because
There
This
was
is why- this
events.
is what I mean about-
There were events in that volume that took place in the show, but there is parts of that
Yeah.
volume that never
were
made
gone.
it.
yes.
So
but-
that's why
but
it
like,
makes it so short in the aspect of the show.
But like
Okay.
him talking to the principal, that happens in like issue 3, happened in episode 5.
last episode.
So like they're taking the elements, they're working them to work in the show when it flows.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
so
Also, just because I don't think we talked about this, Joe, why don't you tell them that little cameo?
okay, so we had speculated this when we covered it for Comic Book Rundown. The
Mhm.
principal looked a lot like I forget his name now. Oh, Carl Winslow from
Reginald
Family Matters.
Valjean. Or
Reginald Bell Johnson did the
Yes.
voice. He's Carl Winslow.
Mhm.
The
The character's
volume-
name is Winslow.
the volume 1 is called Family Matters.
There's also a
Hell
Steve
yeah.
Urkel thing in there.
So it like it ties in, and the big thing that Joe
Oh.
told me, because I didn't even know this for the original volumes, is like the first 10 or maybe all the way through?
Okay. It's all the way through. Every single volume except for like 3 of them. 2 of them being the final, like, all-out war, and then I think whenever there's like another war in between, like midway through.
Mhm.
Every single volume of the trade is named after a sitcom. So like you got Family Matters, Three's Company, Full
Friends.
House.
Oh.
I think Friends was one of them. Like it everyone's named after a sitcom.
The
and
Office.
It's awesome. I didn't get that one yet.
But still,
pretty cool.
like
Yeah.
we have 2 more episodes left.
I need to read it.
It's I'm gonna go ahead and take a guess. We're gonna reach volume 12 by the end of the season. I'm gonna say 12.
So
Hold
we're
on.
definitely going to get the end of volume 1. No, end of volume 3 with a Mark and Omni-Man. We're going to get the end of that.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to get all the way to the rest of them.
Let me.
So next week is the penultimate episode then. So they're gonna like every episode.
Oh, you know what?
Like,
No,
oh,
I
man.
am pushing very hard. No, I think some of the stuff that we were talking about, just like how we said, they're kind of mixing and matching and throwing stuff in whatever direction they want.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll get some of the remnants of what should have been in the beginning of the show to flesh it out.
You know what? I can see that.
Because I just looked at what volume 12 is. There is no way in hell. No way in hell.
Volume 12 is
no way in hell.
is when the other ones show up, right? Yeah,
Okay,
they
so-
haven't.
There's still a lot of story left. A lot of story left.
There's so
Okay.
much.
That's what
so
I wanted to know. So this can continue.
But we haven't been confirmed. There's not been confirmed for season 2 yet, right?
Not that I'm
Season
aware
2
of.
coming.
But
I mean,
think
I hope
pretty
there
safe
is.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but
season 2
I keep
coming.
telling people to check this out that don't watch a lot of animation. They're like, and then they'll watch an episode 2 and be like, oh, that was really good. And I'm like, yeah, just
Robert
Yeah,
Kirkman
really great.
teases
I
some
was gonna say,
work
don't they
being
have a
done
deal
on
with Kirkman?
Invincible season 2.
nice.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I was gonna say
Okay.
I thought they hit a deal with Kirkman, so they're not gonna want to lose him. They're
hell
giving
no.
him at least 2 seasons of this.
well, I
Robert
mean,
Kirkman teases he may already be working on season 2 of his new superhero series at Amazon. The 8-episode animated program is based on Kirkman's comic book series, and it says here.
I mean, it's gonna be more than 2 seasons. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
144 issues, 26 volumes, 20 or 12 ultimate
Yeah,
collection. Like
that's basically the article is titled what basically is said, because everything else is just giving more facts about what Invincible is
I
as a
love
comic
when they
book.
do that in an article. We need to fill out, a 3-scroll thing.
Well,
So let's just
an
put
article, in order for the internet to really grab onto anything searchable, an article needs to be 400 words or more. So just random knowledge that I have in my brain for no reason.
I've got a
Yeah.
question.
What's up?
You got answers.
Does the robot want to bang Monster Girl, or what is this weird finicky attachment to her, where he's all like,
I got
We'll find out.
looking at her?
You gotta read the
Like,
book.
You'll find out.
Robo-dong or whatever.
You got to read the book.
I'm suspicious about that story. It's gonna be fun. Not
Let's
just
just
And-
say
being
that-
a monster girl, but
Let's just say
Since
that
we
he
didn't
is
get to
having
talk
a
about
clone
it.
made. So
With just we didn't get to talk about it last episode, where like her and what is it, like the asshole that was cheating on
Rexplode. Rex.
Yeah, like Rex. Like I loved how they were like all bonding and stuff, and she's like, yeah, every time I do my power, I get younger. It's a bitch to have a relationship, and he's like, yeah, not gonna lie, feeling kind of creepy now, or like whatever he said. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like calling a lantern too, where he's like, you know what, like you might be one, but no, yeah, I don't know. It was just hilarious. How like
you might be 27, but you're 14 body, and that's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how I just like how realistic and like they just hang a lantern on shit. You know
Oh,
what I mean? And
well,
they go with it and-
One other thing that we haven't talked about that I want to get Greg and Nathan's opinion on, Robot is a little suspicious.
Mhm.
Don't be
What do you
suspicious.
guys-
Don't be suspicious.
What do you guys think?
They introduced that in like the like just little hints of it here in like the second episode. I
He
think, is when they
sent
first
those
started
one
to do
guys
that.
against basically the Teen Titans. He sent the ones that like he's in the shadows monitoring them and watching. Like he he basically like he sent the dudes against the
and then he got the DNA from Rexplode too. Remember, and that was when you saw the little creepy looking thing, the alien looking thing he was creating.
He can't be making another Rexplode. That dude sucks. Like, why would he need to make another one? He just throws fucking change that blows. He's a fucking bitch Gambit. At least Gambit.
I love this.
Do you know why that is so hilarious, Nathan? Do you know why that is so hilarious?
Why?
On our review, I called the Rock dude that was on this most recent episode. Titan. I called Titan a what did I call him? A Dollar General Colossus.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's perfect for this book though, and for the show. Like Kirkman literally just took every single superhero and just made a generic version of them.
Yeah.
And put them in the book, and they're perfect.
Except for the elephant. I can't think of anybody. Elephant woman, elephant man. I don't know. I think
Rhino.
Elephant. No, they call. Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. Similar. Okay.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
But
you're
not going to see J. Jonah Jameson with the power of Superman anywhere else other than this.
No,
show.
you're not.
I tell you,
it was
right
an awesome
now.
idea. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Dude, the show is amazing, and I love it.
Yeah.
What's their Spider-Man going to be? Is it going to be like Arachnid Boy or something, like coming in swinging around?
Do they have
a Spider-Man?
I think I don't remember.
Well,
again, 4 years. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I will say, well, actually, I will go ahead and share this just because you guys will eventually read the
They're
book
eventually
anyway.
read everything. Let's just spoil the ending for them.
No, I'm not gonna spoil the ending. Let's see here. Which book is it? There is one. Right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and new tab. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, hold on.
What are you thinking?
No, I'm gonna open image in new tab. That's what I want. Okay. So and then I'm gonna share.
Taking over this
share screen.
Do it.
There's this little thing.
Oh, that
Ooh, okay.
I've heard of this. Brent said something of this.
And for those not watching, what are we looking at?
This is a Marvel Team Up number 14. It is a comic book that I have yet to be able to find. It's a comic that I could very easily find. It's a very easy comic. No, not right now. It's a very easy comic book to find on Craigslist. I can find it on Craigslist. I can pay whatever amount that they want me to pay. But this is a comic that I've been wanting to have the chance to find in a comic shop.
All right.
Like there's the gems that you kind of just want to fall into your lap one day that you're just like searching for, and you're just like, holy crap, it's here. This is one of those books that I want. I don't know when the next chance I'll be able to go into a comic shop that is out of state to try to search for this one. But this is a book that I have been wanting to find for the past like 10 years. And I haven't been able to get it. Like, I say 10 years as an exaggeration, but it's just one that I've really wanted.
Yeah, it's a badass cover.
And there's a reason why this comes up. I will just say that. There's a reason for this comic book to exist. So,
hey, anybody else? Well, I guess never mind. I guess so. Do like all the authorities know who the superheroes are in this world? Otherwise, I got a real problem with everybody just letting their fingerprints go around all fucking willy nilly. Like even Mark's costume's perps got finger holes cut out like he's in a biker gang. He's like, yeah, fuck you guys, see that? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, anytime a superhero thing happens, the militarized group is there doing cleanup, so they know it's because they're kind of like the not what's the correct term, like the not the cover up team, but the they're basically SHIELD. They're basically the SHIELD of this world.
Yeah, Cecile and his team.
Yeah,
they know everybody's secret identity, but only the teams and their members know their secret identity. Like Robot doesn't know who Invincible is. Rexplode doesn't know who Invincible is,
which is very different than the comics. Because I know
no.
Robot knows it in the comics.
Doesn't Adam Eve know?
In the beginning.
Who?
Adam does because they go to school.
Because they go to school.
Right.
But for even the longest time in the comic, a lot of people don't find out until later on.
Yep.
Hey, I like how Black Lightning got his powers back this episode. You know what I'm saying? Like that was cool.
Well, that was the thing. Also, if you were paying attention, he didn't have powers, and what you saw with his suit,
he said he lost them.
Exactly. Yeah. So the suit kind of gave it back. So
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I like how they mentioned, they slipped it in that he was originally on the members of the Guardians of the Globe until he lost his powers, and then I guess he got all messed up. He came out there and was like, "I am Iron Man, bitches," and then we saw Battle Beast just wipe the floor with his ass, and like I thought they squished it. I thought he was gonna like. Okay, I love the Hulk Loki smash, and like that is repeating in this series, but only like the human's head explodes, because that's what would really fucking happen if you did like the
first crack.
The Hulk with Loki, like man, when he did that to Darkwing in the first one, I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant, I love it, because that's what Superman should do to Batman, just be like, fuck you, Bruce, just splat him, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I'm just really liking that theme of just where they do the Hulk smash and just brains and just splattering everywhere.
Yeah,
dude, like there's moments here that I'm like, because I know what's happening and I also don't know what's happening, I don't know which one of my favorite characters might die. So there was the incident where like you see the robot grab William, my jaw dropped. I legit thought William was gonna die. Because again, I know how the book goes, and I can somewhat say, okay, there are some things that they are gonna stay true to. But with Kirkman basically saying, nah, fuck what I wrote.
Yeah.
You know,
that would have been
look at the Walking Dead show in the book, like how they differ, like, and things were brought out of order and in order, you know what I mean? Like there was stuff shuffled into order and then shuffled out, and people were died early in the show that were still alive in the books, and people that died or the books were still alive. I got a question for you, Clay. You've seen Dragon Ball Z and you've read the Dragon Ball manga, right? Have you ever read any of the? Okay, so you know how well that the manga and the fighting on screen translates. Like that's one of the beautiful things about that manga. Is like even the
beautiful thing about almost any manga and anime is that they try to put exact panels into the show per scene.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Does it? Okay, does Invincible? Does the violence translate on the page? Like when the brutality of him squishing Red Rush's fucking head and his eyeball, like does that translate?
It's
on
almost
the page?
worse in the comic.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
because
it's really
here's the thing with that scene in particular, we saw
I don't get up again.
We saw guts, we saw whatever, right? But in the show, it's almost flat because of the art style, and I'm not docking on the art style whatsoever. It's still beautiful. It's immaculate. It's great. Awesome. But because of the art style of Ryan Otley in this comic,
that was Walker.
Walker was at that moment.
At the beginning,
in the beginning, it was Walker. But even still, like there's these moments, like you saw what happened to Invincible. With Battle Beast,
yeah, like fucking crushing his sternum and shit. Like
you could see the inside of his stomach. Like,
oh yes, see, I need to get this book.
Like that happens almost, and Joe can attest to this. Almost every other issue to like, every 3 issues.
Yeah, you will. There's nothing but blood and guts throughout this whole.
Yes,
this whole series. There's
this is gonna be my favorite.
There's 2 wars that happen. 2 different wars that happen.
Longer than the going to the alien planet and wiping them out. That war where he wiped out the entire fucking planet and only grew a beard, or like
so that one. That was even. It's worse than that.
Well, and I told you guys that one where Omni-Man ran into the portal.
You said it's way worse than the comics, right?
No. We never.
You don't really see it.
You never saw him go into the portal. This we actually see him do whatever. Like we may have seen a glimpse of like him.
I feel like he did like a retelling, but it was only like a page or 2.
Yeah,
or like a panel or two
exactly.
versus the 5 minutes
But
that we got.
there is
the
a
show.
lot of stuff that may have been like a, oh yeah, this
Feels
happened.
like the Whis
That
and
Kirkman is
Ant-Man.
that where Kirkman is able to be like, hey, we can put a whole 5 minutes into this.
Yeah,
real
we
quick.
can we can expand this. Let's
Right.
play with
Right.
it.
which makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
And new to people who have read it before.
Correct.
Exactly.
So always nice.
Like this, like I said, and I'm not. I hope as of right now, I think it's gonna do great. But like I just listened to Travis's top 20 animated series of all time, you know, and his number one, and I highly agree with him. Is a show that's only like 5 years old or 6 years old, and that's Rick and Morty. So like things can come in brand new.
Still
and, like,
have
they
not
can-
seen a single episode.
Oh my god,
fun,
it's so
man.
fucking beautiful.
Neither
It's
have I.
so beautiful. It's so like Rick Sanchez is my hero, and I know that's a
Speaking
bad
of Rick,
thing. Like
speaking of Rick Sanchez,
is my
did
hero.
you recognize the voice of that douchebag at the beginning?
Yes, but I couldn't tell who it was. So I mean,
Just-
like
it's Justin Rowland. It's Rick Sanchez.
Was it really? Okay, see,
Mhm.
because I couldn't tell. But okay, that's awesome. But like, what I'm saying with that is like, if this keeps up and like after this season, when season one's done, I'm gonna do a rewatch of it. And like I said, with the anime, like this has real potential to maybe not become my all-time favorite, but maybe quote come in my top 5 of superhero like shows because technically it is you know what I mean. Like,
I could
it has
say that
potential
this,
to jump
I
up
could
there.
say that this will be probably in my top 5 animated streaming shows because there has been a lot in the last few years. One of them being Castlevania. Castlevania is a rated R. I think it's rated MA.
I need to watch that still.
Bloody fucking vampire knights and all sorts of shit type show. Really good. I love it. This beats it just for the fact that I have experience with the comic and my dog will not shut up. I'm sorry.
Right.
Speaking of which, Clay, with only being 2 episodes left, we're gonna have to get together for that small screen rundown. Not sure when. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'm gonna have to get together with Travis for a special superhero discussions because where we can just talk about the whole series as a whole and bring
That's
Brent
what
on.
That's
Bring
what my
Brent
small
on
screen
since he's
rundown
the-
is.
Yeah. See, and that now I wish like because I've heard Brent talk about this on Twitter and like stuff since I want to say at least 2017, 2016, you know, something like that. And like now I'm really kicking myself in the ass when I could have got that giant, you know, that giant Ultimate Edition or whatever that's got the first 3 trades in it for like $13. Like I could have got it then. Now like I'm kicking myself in the ass. I could have had the entire collection and read this great story a long time ago.
Now, again, I know that you were having trouble with the digital comic, but last I saw, Comixology is having a sale on Invincible, which includes the digital compendiums, which is what you were wanting. But they are currently, let's actually look that up real quick. They were almost like, I think, 50% off.
Really?
Now you're talking my language. I don't like digital comics, but I do want to read the series.
So what I ended up doing is I did the 3 compendiums, all digital, but I'm doing the Ultimate Collections physical.
Okay.
So as of right now, the compendiums are.
Oh, is that the one that has the most in it? The compendiums are bigger than the Ultimates, right?
Yes, the compendium is the omnibus, basically.
That's what I thought.
It's volumes 1, 2, and 3. Volume 1 is originally $39.99. Volume 2 is originally $39.99, and volume 3 is originally $49.99. Right now, the first volume is $19.99. The second volume is $19.99, and the third volume is $24.99. So they are 50% off.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Another option, if you guys, don't want to buy it digitally, but you still want to read it, if you have your library, your local library that happens to do digital through the Hoopla app, and that ties into your local library. All you need is your library card, and you can get them digitally. They're all there, all the trades
for
That's
free.
Actually, a really
For
good
free.
idea.
I have a library.
Great
I have
idea,
a library
Joe, that
card.
people don't think of that about that.
It's one of those things that I had to I love my library. I would go there all the time to get books. I saw them advertise that, and I'm like, oh, I'll check this out. having a co-host who does not like to do digital, I let him read my copy, and then I will find it through the Hoopla app or through Comixology because I don't mind digital. And then you can have it if you have Hoopla on your phone or through my tablet or on your laptop. It all links together as long as you have your library card and the app, and it's hooked up to your.
Is the
library.
compendium on the Hoopla app? I know it might be different for every.
It goes by your library. But I don't think the compendium is here, but it has every single volume.
Yeah.
So yeah, like volume 1 through 25. It's only 25.
Greg, we've got to get on this. You and I, we got to get on this. We got to read this and do a special episode.
It also has the like Invincible presents Adam Eve and Rex Explode miniseries.
Yes,
It's
so
got
there's
the Invincible universe.
There was a separate series called Invincible Universe, and there was also a separate series called Invincible Inc. that plays along with these series as well. So you could do a huge deep dive into it.
Yeah.
I
don't think it'll be necessary, but
no, it's definitely not. But there was rumors of isn't there rumors of a spinoff of The Boys on Amazon?
Yeah, that's coming out next year. Next year
about
this
Butcher.
Year.
Yeah, about Butcher.
Think about how.
Okay.
Think about how big.
Wait. Maybe I'm wrong. Who do you think it was about?
I thought it was supposed to be like a university kids thing or something. Not like kids, but like
the college thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
It was the kids in college.
You might be right. Yeah, I might be thinking.
So
okay,
Joe, think of how big the Invincible universe is without the
rest of Image
licensed
characters.
Yeah.
Even with that's really only up until like the first 20 to 30 issues.
Exactly.
And then it becomes its own thing.
It becomes its own original thing. Think about how big that is, and if Amazon actually wants to expand this universe.
I just came in my pants. Sorry. What?
They've got a lot of lore just in
You're
what
wearing
we've
pants?
seen on this.
Shorts.
People, especially streaming services, they need content.
Right.
This is a content creator. Like,
hey,
they need to jump on it.
If they give me a show called Dollar General Colossus and Bitch Gambit, like I'm gonna be all in. I'm gonna be all in, and we'll be ready to go.
I love it,
man. It's great.
Oh man.
Invincible, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody should check it out.
Like I am a believer. I am a believer, and I am so like I'm waiting to get the compendiums because I thought those were the bigger ones. Like I'm dying to get those so I can just start plowing. Like I'm gonna stop whatever book I'm reading to jump into those eventually when it happens.
The compendiums, like Chris said, the physical compendiums are a little bit harder because they are massive.
So you see,
they're not bound. They're
my
like bindings are not good, right?
Walking Dead right there that I'm pointing at. That's the compendiums. The same size.
Okay.
So they're a little bit shorter, but they're like more of a rectangle. But I think this is more of a rectangle upwards. But the rectangles for Images books are kind of wild. They got really big into them when doing Spawn, especially doing them with The Walking Dead.
So
that's not too bad.
This is like the Ultimate Collection.
Okay.
Like,
you're gonna show them every
together, and then this is the compendium.
Okay.
Oh, I can do that.
Pretty big.
It's huge. Yeah. Got it, Ollie's.
I can.
I love Ollie's.
I really want an Ollie's down in Texas.
I love it, dude.
Because you guys talk about it all the freaking time. You talk about how great their prices are.
Dude,
and
I got
a
lot of what you see here. I got it. Ollie's. I got that one too, Greg. He's not listening. I got it. Ollie's.
I got this for $4 at Ollie's, man.
I got that too.
Are you shitting me?
Love it. Yeah, $4.
If you can find
$50 on the cover.
If you can find absolutes for $4, I need an Ollie's here in Texas.
Me too.
And the guy tells me they get new shipments every month of just overstock stuff. They had almost the entire Injustice League except for year 1. They had everything from year 2 and 3, the trades, but just not year 1. And I almost bought the whole thing last week.
I've gotten I've gotten almost all the Suicide Squad, the original Suicide Squad.
I bought the Suicide Squad there last week.
There's
Jesus, man.
They've got a lot there. And
I need to move up north
wall
you guys.
where I'm at.
a good portion of what I got back here, I got from Ollie's.
Mhm.
Actually, another giant chunk I got from Discount Comic Book Services when they were still here in Fort Wayne, and dinged and damaged. Like it was just a little nick on like the corner.
Mhm. Yeah,
That was
I find some that aren't damaged. A lot of them that aren't damaged at all. Yeah.
$60. I got it for like $5.
Yeah.
So,
Well, my wife called me when she was at Ollie's, and she was like, "Hey, they have a lot of comic books here, and they have these ones that are in a package for like $5." And I was like, "I don't buy Rat Packs. Like, I don't buy Rat Packs."
yeah, I'm starting to go away from that. But
Yeah, and I was
trades-
like, "Well, tell me what they got." And she was like, "They're really thick books." And I was like, "Okay." Then I went up there and checked it out, and she was right, man. They got some
Yeah.
comics up
Is that
there.
with 2 C's, like the kids are saying? Thick.
Dick.
Oh, well, y'all. You got anything else you want to say about Invincible?
That is
no.
one of the
It has potential.
I will say
it's
it's-
right. It's
It's
up
already there, buddy. It's already
Uh-huh.
there,
Yes.
man.
Okay,
I will
yeah.
continue to say this until it becomes a real thing, because I still am speculating, and I still hope that it does come true. Kyle Higgins said that Radiant Black is the next Invincible. So
Yeah.
jump on it before it starts selling out.
Mhm.
There is a rumored book that is on Kickstarter right now that is rumored to be the first installation of the connected universe that they're creating.
Ooh.
I mean, it helps that the writers for both are kind of
Yeah.
brothers.
Wait. Kyle Higgins' new comic is going to connect to the Invincible universe.
No.
They said that it's going to be the next Invincible, basically saying that
Oh.
how successful Invincible was back in the day, they are
Mhm.
betting that Radiant Black is going to be just as successful.
And
He
after-
is.
after
it
2
is-
issues.
It is speculation that he is creating a universe with other writers, that they're going to basically make their own Justice League, their own Power Rangers team, basically their whole like whatever. And it
That
looks
tickles my fancy.
I'll be
amazing.
down with that. Yeah.
Nathan, I have already added
I
you into the
I
Google
s-
Drive folder
I saw
for
that, I know.
issues 1 and 2.
I know, and okay, fun fact behind
I
the thing,
just-
for whatever reason it takes forever to load. It won't load. I've got the cover for the first issue, so and that's it, and the rest of it hasn't loaded still.
Get better Wi-Fi.
Like, I don't know
I-
what the hell is happening.
I
don't
have-
know. The cover's beautiful.
And I have the folder for issue 3. Like, I'm gonna be uploading it tomorrow, so you guys like,
Oh yeah,
yeah. So,
I got
There's
time
a-
off. Let's do this.
well, you know what? Nope, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna. There's a surprise coming.
I know
And-
about that already.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. There's a surprise coming, and let's just leave it at that. It's
Can
gonna
we,
be.
can we just get the next incarnation of Power Rangers, like a 10-episode series? Can we just get that based off of like Higgins run, and we can consult him?
Oh, dude!
I'll
if,
just be
like,
happy as hell.
we-
Like a
I don't want to
PG-13
make this another
Rangers.
hour conversation, but I just want to say, like, I have so much hype for something that we have very little information on already because of Kyle Higgins' run and Ryan Parrott's like
Dude, they're
success
so
with Power Rangers.
good.
They need to be consultants on
Yes.
that. Because Nathan, I don't know if you know, I think we talked about it very little here on Super Civil Servants, but they are creating like an MCU. They are creating TV shows, they are creating movies, they're creating animation,
Mhm.
kid shows. They're making a creative, like connective universe for Power Rangers. And I need information on it, like yesterday.
Yeah,
Now.
it came out. that announcement came out in what, late 19, early 20, and it's been dark ever since.
Yeah, it's been super
Well,
dark. The last
was
thing
not
we
dark
heard
for
was
you,
that
anyway.
True.
that Brian Edward Hill was going to be writing the movie. That's it.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
interested.
Fun fact: Tom Cruise is going to be the Goldar, so like he's going to be all blue and gold except for his face, and it's going to be his chance to be tall. God damn it.
That's
You're
okay.
gonna love it.
Oh, well, y'all, you ready to get out of here?
We
I gotta get
Yeah,
it.
we're good.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, Joe, where can they find you at, buddy?
You guys can find me on Twitter at _actually_. You can find my stop it, Nathan. You can stop it, play. You can find my show, my podcast, Comic Book Rundown, on Twitter at Comic Rundown and on Instagram at Comic Book Rundown. Wait, no. What? I'm on Instagram or Twitter. Just go look me up. You can find my podcast on any app.
There you go.
I think I had those backwards, but whatever.
All right.
And that is why you need to change it.
My Comic
With-
Book Rundown.
No, you get mixed up in your own, and then it confuses everything else.
I don't get mixed up with my own. I think I actually had it right.
Lying.
Comic Rundown on Twitter, Comic Book Rundown on Instagram.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll go with that.
You'll find it. Find the actually, and you'll find it. Yeah.
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 Underscore actually. Get it right. Jeez.
Yeah. Sorry. I always figure with the underscores before or after. So yeah. Clay, what's up? Where do you find you, buddy?
You can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. On my Twitter account, you can actually find a link tree where you can find the link to every single one of my shows, that including Batman News Weekly podcast, the Comic Book Legion podcast, the Weird Science Marvel podcast, which includes their Patreon, and of course, the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network show, the Ranger Alliance podcast. And there is another announcement coming up very shortly for the Geek Ultimate Alliance and me.
I need to get a link tree, I think.
Yeah,
it works
spoiler.
wonders.
Gumby Alliance coming at you with Clay. Just saying, spoiler. Gumby Alliance. I'm just saying, we're going through some claymation.
But
I love it.
yeah. Hey, where they find you, buddy?
Here on Friday evenings and every other Sunday morning on Star Wars Alliance with the Jedi Master herself, Katie. And we are recording this Sunday, I think so.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, well, that's what I watched because she still doesn't tell me. I think she put the poll out.
Oh yeah, the Phantom Menace one. You.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing.
See, I did it right. See, I already watched it, and yes, I'm ready to talk.
Nice. Check those shows out. And I am the Bat Daddy 52. It's my only form of social media. Check me out on Twitter. You can find links to the show, Super Civil Servants, DC Alliance, Superhero Discussions. And come check out the shows, support us, share with a friend, give us a review, everything. Everybody here, check everything out they got, and we'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until then, keep at it. All right.